Conditional ing. Conditional ing. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Ouch. Don't watch. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right. I think we're back. I think the audio is ready to go. We're having some technical glitches. Things have been a little bit rough with the technical glitches in recent times. And for the third week in a row, we have somebody else on the line that I have to connect for the call-in show. Last week, they were on the line all show and didn't make any noise. We know the week before, they kept interrupting the show. It could happen again tonight. I have not heard back from Chris Gio for all these weeks, who runs TFR. I'm wondering if anybody's home. But yeah, I'm also almost debating. Well, I mean, the nice thing about TFR is that we get out to the audience who listens to TFR. Thank you to all of you out there. And, you know, this September marks 7 years now that I've been on TFR. Man, time flies. It was September 2016 that this show debuted on TFR. But just, you know, with the lack of response lately and somebody hacking into the show each week, I'm just like, do I want to start doing this show without calling TFR and running the risk of being tampered with? So I'm just putting that out there. But it is nice to have the TFR audience, and we do interact with people who don't follow the work that I put out all week on my own websites and YouTube page. And again, every week there's so much to talk about, and I'm often going, where should we start? I think the starting point tonight is why we all need to learn to say no. And of course, a lot of us already listening know how to say no, but a lot of America hasn't learned. And we know that it's only a matter of when, not if, that they will declare another COVID type of pandemic. Hopefully it's still, you know, more than a year away, but one of the big stories this week, Jill Biden, sick with the COVID. And look at what day she tested positive, you guys. September 4th, 9-4, right? Do you remember what it is about 94 and coronavirus? If not, let me take you down memory lane. So the first confirmed case in the world was in Seattle, Washington. When I say first confirmed case, I mean outside of China. The first confirmed case outside of China was in Seattle, Washington. And of course, in Gematria, Seattle, Washington equals 94. And so does coronavirus pandemic. And so does Davos, Switzerland, where Bill Gates projected the pandemic from and where Bill Gates launched his decade of vaccines from on his 94th day of his age, a decade before coronavirus, back in 2010. Again, a decade of vaccines. He said in 10 years, let's have a push to vaccinate the world. Not too far off with the coronavirus pandemic. But remember, with regards to 94, again, Jill tests positive on 9-4, coronavirus pandemic 94, Seattle, Washington 94, Davos, Switzerland. Bill Gates in the year 94. He was married on the first day of 94. His mother died in 94. His father died in 2020 at age 94. Russell Wilson of Seattle, like Bill Gates, lost his grandfather at age 94 after the Seahawks won the 94th NFL season. Remember how sports and news and all these things get synced up, just like they did with the NBA and its 94-foot-long court locking down the same day as the pandemic. And again, in 94, when Bill and Melinda got married on January 1st, 94 days later, the biggest celebrity in Seattle died. That was Kurt Cobain. Dead April 5th, 94. And so here we are now, and remember the bigger thing about 94. In Gematria, Roman Catholic Church equals 94, like how the English language is essentially theirs, and like how we're speaking, or we're on their time, we're on their calendar, the Gregorian calendar named after the Pope, who leads the Roman Catholic Church. And 94 has been big in other things. World Trade Center equals 94, like the word terror, like how the World Trade Centers opened on the 94th day of the year, and like how 19 hijackers took down the World Trade Center, so we were told, 19 years before 2020, the year of COVID-19. Two stories that have a lot of parallels, as we've discussed so many times. In fact, I have a book out there, Number Games, 9/11 to Coronavirus. And they're still calling it COVID-19 here in 2023. Trying to remember what director put out that movie during the time of COVID about COVID-23. That was a Hollywood movie put out back in around 2020 time. But yeah, 94, this Roman Catholic Church number. And here we are in the time of the nation's second Catholic president, number 46, Joe Biden, who was elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, shortly after his son Joe Jr. died at age 46. And of course, in Gematria, Catholic equals 46, and JFK was assassinated at age 46. And we know what happened the other week with the assassination in Ecuador, a nation established 46 years after America, on the day that supposedly they arrested a would-be Biden assassinator in Utah. But yeah, here's the other big thing besides just the 94. Remember, the Jesuit order serves the Roman Catholic Church and its Pope. And in Gematria, Jesuit order equals 72, like President Biden. And in 1972, he became senator-elect, and his wife and daughter died. And then when he was 72 years old, his son Beau Biden died at age 46. And now Jill Biden just turned 72, and now she's got the COVID. So is it possible? Is it possible that we could have another fateful 72 in Joe Biden's life? We speculated on this when he first was named president-elect. Could he be, the 9th president to end up dying in office as the oldest, having gotten a record 81 million votes when 81 has a square root of 9? And Joe Biden is number 46, but again, he's the 45th person to be president, and 45 is the 9th triangular number. So there's some narratives there for Biden to be the 9th to go in office. And I don't think it would shock anyone. He seems frail, and he's just trying to avoid the next windstorm. But yeah, Jill Biden at age 72. And bear with me one moment. Forgot to do something. Okay, sorry. Forgot to soundproof this room by closing the door, so had to do that. But yeah, again, the significance of these numbers and where they all lead back to. And keep in mind, September 4th, the day she was diagnosed with COVID, was the 247th day of the year. 247, just like how the country's 247 years old right now, just like how the Illuminati is 247 years old. Remember, the 76ers, like the Illuminati in 1776, got that big upset over Boston on the Illuminati's birthday, getting the 247th win. And then again, we've been talking a lot about Maui burning up on Josh Green's 247th day of being governor and how it was synced with the state birthday, the fire. But yeah, on September 4th, it was a day just full of rituals. And, that included the death of the singer Smash Mouth, a band formed in 94 in Santa Clara, California. Santa Clara has the 94 Gematria connection. That's where one of the nation's 27 Jesuit universities is. It's also where arguably the most Smash Mouth football team in the NFL is right now. Smash Mouth is named after football terminology. And that's the 49ers who now play in Santa Clara. But yeah, it was full of stories that they had to move the burning of the man at Burning Man to September 4th, the 247th day of the year. Fire, light, illuminated, Illuminati. And where did the Burning Man Festival start? Before it was in Nevada, it was in the Bay Area. Started in San Francisco, named after St. Francis of Assisi, who founded the Franciscans, who were the precursor to the Jesuits. And there's a lot more to all of these things. But yeah, like I was saying in the beginning, people are going to have to learn to say no. Because eventually it's coming again. It could be as soon as, not far down the road. It could be as soon as far down the road where they're locking things down again. And let's hope not. Let's hope they're just giving us a little scare, a little tease, and they still got it planned for some years down the road. Again, we know about the SPARS 2025 simulation, but the thing is, before the next pandemic is declared, somehow, some way, the people need to work hard enough to wake up more people so that they'll be able to say no. If enough people say no, and it doesn't take everybody, it just takes enough people. If enough people say no and don't comply, like imagine you're at a workforce, right? Let's say it's a workplace of 20 people. And really, all 20 of those people who work there are needed for business to go through. Man, if 6 of those people are hardliners, like, I'm not putting on any mask and I'm not getting any jabs, and they're important to their job and they're not just easily replaced people, that workplace is going to have to say, you know what, we can't comply with this mandate because then we don't have employees and then our business doesn't work. And if that starts happening everywhere, then they just have to say, you know what, we can't wreck the whole country over the 99 point whatever survivable illness this time. Again, disobedience is so important. Complying with the tyranny, which is what America's been doing for all of the 21st century. After 9/11, nobody cried about giving up the rights and liberties. They just did it. They shoved out more tax money for more wars. They did nothing to keep us safe because we were lied to all along. You know, the whole thing was based on a lie. It was a manipulation from the get-go. It was a big hustle from the get-go. All of these things are a big hustle on the American populace. All of these things are a hustle. And the funny thing about the hustle is they do it by a code, Kabbalistic code of numbers, and that's how you get ahead of their curve and see through what they're doing. I mean, I already wrote a book about coronavirus in 94. Now here we go again with the first lady. After all these times talking about Joe Biden and 72 and how fateful it is, now his wife's 72 and she's got COVID. They call it rebound COVID. Reminds me that Joe Biden is Celtic, you know, like a rebounds terminology in basketball in the Boston Celtics. Remember John Havlicek, number 17 of the Celtics, died 17 days after his birthday, the day Joe Biden announced he was running for president. Again, Joe Biden's Secret Service name, Celtic. And we've been talking about Hawaii. You know, Joe Biden was 17 years old when Hawaii was made a state. Joe Biden born on the 17th birthday of RFK, who was assassinated in an election year in a 144 ritual only for his son to be in this upcoming election. Officially in the race after filing the paperwork 144 days after the Superior General's birthday, the leader of the Jesuits. But, yeah, September 4th, the evening, the diagnosis, the news squeaked out the evening of September 4th, but this was the big focus all day as well. Jill Biden sick with COVID became the focus of the news on September 5th, 9/5, which was her 95th day of her age. And again, the Jesuits were created to counter the 95 Theses. That's why September 27th, the day leaving 95 days left in the year, is the day they were recognized by Roman history. And again, the Event 201 coronavirus pandemic simulation of October 18th, 2019 was the same day the Military World Games began in Wuhan, China. And the Military World Games began in the year 95 in Italy, home to the Vatican, where the Jesuits served the Pope. And let's also forget not what happened in 95. Timothy McVeigh supposedly blew up the building on Ignatius Loyola Day, the day in history that Ignatius Loyola became the first Superior General of the Jesuits. Ignatius Loyola equals Timothy McVeigh equals the Jesuit order in Gematria. Very familiar patterns. And yeah, I'm just scanning through some notes here to see if any more are worth sharing. There's a lot more information. You know, I was just looking more into that Interstate 81 that runs through Scranton, Pennsylvania, Joe Biden's hometown, in light of his 81 million votes, and in light of how right now he's 80 years old, meaning he's in his 81st year of life, and President Biden equals 81. I noticed that Interstate 81 construction ended in 1959, the same year that Hawaii was made a state. Exactly 201 months after Biden's birthday, the same guy who's given up his whole family in 201 rituals. Will Jill Biden become the latest? Remember, the Queen died last year, 201 days after her COVID diagnosis on September 8th. The anniversary is just 2 days away. A year ago today, Liz Truss was becoming the prime minister. And remember, a trust goes with a bridge, and bridge has gematria 45, and she was prime minister for 45 days. Anyhow. Oh, yeah. This was the other big piece about this being the focus of the news on September 5th and September 4th. So September 4th was 77 days before Joe Biden's upcoming birthday, November 20th. And September 5th to November 20th would obviously be 76 days later, or a total span of 77 days. So both days have the connection to 77. And in gematria, with the alphabetic order, the most simple cipher, Jill Biden is 77. If you take the alphabetic order in numerology, her full name, Jill Tracy Jacobs Biden, is 77. Just like United States is 77. Just like how DC's on the 77th meridian west. You know all about Flight 77 that hit the 77-foot-tall Pentagon 77 minutes after taking off on September 11th. And you spell out September 11th as words, it's also 77. But the other 77 with Jill and Joe is they were married in 77. They were married in 1977. And again, just the ongoing parallels, COVID and 9/11 and big numbers and big rituals for big agendas. Jill Biden, she turned 72 this year on June 3rd, 6'3". Remember the guy in Ecuador who just got assassinated, the presidential hopeful, 63 days before his birthday while he's 63 years old, going with JFK, killed at age 46 in 1963. Last year, the dead Kennedys drummer died at age 63. The diagnosis September 4th was the 80th day of their marriage year. So from the anniversary of their marriage, June 17th, to the diagnosis, the 80th day of the current year of the marriage. Joe Biden's 80 years old. Bavarian Illuminati has the gematria of 80. The Dreamweaver singer, Gary Wright, died at age 80 that day. Same day that you had the Walking on the Sun singer dead, Steve Harwell. But again, Bavarian Illuminati 80, perfect ritual with that. Again, the Illuminati founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. September 5th, the day it was also the focus of the news, was the 81st day of the marriage anniversary, just like President Biden's 81. And the other thing is, remember last year, Donald Trump was burying his ex-wife in a Jesuit ritual 45 years after their marriage in 1977 to Ivana. Buried her on the 201st day of the year. Another big Jesuit number, just like, again, Joe Biden's whole family sacrificed in 201 rituals. The latest, Beau Biden, 201 days before the Pope's birthday. The first Jesuit Pope, the first to live in Suite 201. But since Biden was also married to his wife in 77, that means they just passed the 46th anniversary of their marriage. And again, he's number 46. JFK dead at 46. Sacrifice, Catholic, virus, all 46. We'll see how this story plays out as time goes on in the time that Jill Biden's 72. Seen some of these celebrities have several diagnoses of COVID. We've seen several celebrities die who were much younger than ages 81 and 72 or 80 and 72 from COVID. Also, from the day of inauguration, January 20th, 20/1, the 201st day of the nation's age each year. From that day to September 5th, this being the big focus of the news all day, 137 weeks in office is what it was for Biden. Again, Washington, D.C., government, authority, White House, they all equal 137. 137 is the 33rd prime number. Federal order, secrecy, masonry, all 33, like the word Bible, like how they swear in on the Bible, like how there's Masonic Bibles. The word corona is also 33. This comes right before G20, this global summit, when coronavirus was a global event. After the Event 201 global pandemic simulation, again, put on in 94 land by the World Economic Forum, led by the Jesuit Klaus Schwab. It's amazing how people talk about Klaus Schwab and never mention his Jesuit education. Almost feels like there's a conspiracy within the truth community to never talk about the Jesuits, when it's so obvious that this is who's running the show. So yeah, people are going to have to learn to say no. Otherwise, we're going to go through it again, and it's going to get worse and worse. Remember, Joe Biden not that long ago just said that he wants a vaccine developed that everyone needs to take. I mean, that just came out of his mouth within the last 2 weeks. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that this agenda even has a chance of going through. And sadly, in this world, it has a big chance because people don't know how to say no. Again, where's the argument for me to take it? I didn't comply with anything the first time around. I stayed healthy. I stayed productive. And you know what? I kept most of my family from getting it. I couldn't get my sister to listen. The only person who's been sick with COVID this summer in my family is my sister, the same one who got her shot and got all of her boosters. So what's that say about the vaccine? She's the only one who got coronavirus this summer. I never seen my sister get the flu in the summer in my entire life. She's in her 40s. No, hold on. She's in her 50s now. I never seen her get the flu in the summer. I've never seen anyone get the flu in the summer before this whole post-COVID era. This is a whole new thing, flu in summer. But I mean, what example is that right there? The only person in my family who got the shot and all the boosters is the only one who's sick? How's that good marketing for why I should do it? And that's the other problem too, even talking about these things. Next thing you know, you're stripped offline and you're being financially punished because you told your own account that was the truth, but it didn't comply with the World Health Organization out of Switzerland and the folks who've been simulating all these things up in Davos and whatnot, and New York City and elsewhere. So anyway, let's take some calls if you want to phone in tonight. 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. And first on the line is Canada. 647.
Oh, hey, yeah, I was, is there a specific topic that you want people to call in about today?
No, I didn't have a topic tonight, just whatever people are thinking about. I mean, I'm obviously talking about the latest COVID and the buzz about should we put masks back on? Does there need to be another round of vaccines? I mean, that's what I'm talking about right now because that's what's on my mind, but what's up?
Yeah, well, going with that, I mean, it's like, I don't know, there's people tweeting on Twitter, like, about, like, the whole plan about September, like, the housing market going down, October, like, the mandates are going to close, they're coming in December, by December, they're going to close the schools down. Like, I don't know how people get the information or if they know of someone that's in it or whatever, but, like, they always give us the hint. And, like, I don't know, somebody was in the community was saying, too, like, that they have to give us the hints in order for it to be like karmically of it, like not affect them. They have to let us know before it actually happens, which is I don't know, which is crazy how people don't see it after like multiple events, like even that you call out, like everybody should see. My question was like to you is just like like I don't know. It's like I'm torn on the point of like making videos and stuff like that, and then like point of like trying to make a profit and trying to survive out here. So like that's where I'm kind of like stuck right now. I'm trying to just like see where I can make money, and it seems like with the truth community, it's really hard to make money. And like if you get censored, this is like your 26th, 27th account. Like I mean, it's so hard to like just have like I don't know.
It is very challenging. It's definitely very challenging. So. But that doesn't mean don't do it. So keep working at it, but don't make it, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Have something else going on and then just work at that until you build it up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But you just gotta hate it till the thing that you love kind of grows.
Exactly. All right, 647.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Okay. And with that said, let's go out to Illinois, 708. Illinois, you got to mute your video.
Hey, Zach?
Yeah.
This is Brian in Chicago. Oh, yeah, I'm just calling because of something pretty crazy. The possible sacrifice of the celebrity Madonna. Hopefully I'm wrong. But have you noticed a lot of 110s in the media lately?
What was I just looking at? The NFL player who just died yesterday died 110 days after his birthday. Also, his 111th day of his age, being from New York, 111 land. But
What?
it might be something about the anniversary of September 11th. The World Trade Centers, of course, were 110 stories tall, and his team, that player who just died, his team's playing on September 11th in the all New York matchup, Jets and Bills. So.
Oh wow, yeah, that's actually very interesting. The founding place of the Society of Jesus, Paris, France, actually equals 110.
Yeah, indeed.
And did you know that Madonna's first tour back in 1985 was in Seattle? So the Space Needle is just what I'm thinking of, and her upcoming tour is in London, where, of course, the famous four-sided clock Big Ben is, and space and time equals 110.
Sure, okay.
And both space and the clock equals 44.
Indeed.
And,
hey, we just went into a commercial break. I wasn't paying attention. But you know what? I can't hear anything, so just go ahead.
Okay, yeah, and actually, I know it's been a few days now, but did you hear about the Real Caribbean Crew?
In a single minute, your body produces
hold on, we'll come back after the break.
180 million red blood cells. People ask Google 2.4 million questions, and 25 million Coca-Cola products are consumed. Many of those bottles will end up in a landfill, where the World Bank estimates we produce 5 million pounds of garbage. 108 human lives will be lost in this minute, and an adult male will lose 96 million cells. Fortunately, 96 million cells divide, replacing those lost. Speaking of divisions, in the USA, 1.5 people get divorced, while worldwide, 116 people will get married, 83,300 people have sex, but only 258 babies will be born, and a fetus is developing neurons at a rate of 250,000 per minute, so it's no wonder that a computer simulation takes 60 quadrillion bytes to simulate a minute. An average of 1.38 micrometers of rainfall around the world, which is 4.7 billion bathtubs of water every minute, and with the storms comes approximately 6,000 bolts of cloud-to-ground lightning hitting the Earth. A 150-pound person expends 1.1 calories of energy per minute while sleeping, while the sun provides us with 83.33 terawatts of energy. The Earth will complete 1,800 kilometers of its 940 million around the sun, moving 1,034 times faster than a cheetah. 70,000 hours of Netflix are watched, 300 hours are uploaded to YouTube, and you can watch this video and subscribe.
From the dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular system, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? iLife is a 99% pure CBD oil made with all organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, you'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to iLife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are team. Team Radio.
Again, we're having some audio problems. There should be sound right now. There might be if you're actually listening on TFR. But always makes it goofy to do the show like this. Okay, let's go back out to Illinois. But before we do, just one of the breaking headlines this evening. If you watched the news, you probably saw there was a sexual assault at Wisconsin, and they made it a national news story. And they have to say they got the suspect at 1:18 a.m. I mean, just super specific. They arrested the suspect at 1:18 a.m. What does Wisconsin equal in Gematria? 118. So, again, it's just like, are these stories even real? Or are these AI-generated people just to put out the same kind of fear and paranoia and thoughts? How many young college students will look at this story, and again, just a familiar racially programmed story, a black man supposedly responsible for the sexual assault? How many young women will see this story, and then maybe they just see a black guy walking down the street, and then they're worried because it's nighttime, and he's a black guy, and they just saw this in University of Wisconsin. I mean, this is what it is. This is back to your regularly scheduled programming. My whole lifetime. The news media, always just these stories focusing so often on, dangerous black men. Just got to be a regular part of your broadcasting news cycle. But yeah, then I just look, okay, they got him at 1:18 a.m. at Wisconsin, huh? And from covering this for so long, I just see it right away. I mean, we're talking about these numbers with their sports seasons over and over again. But why so specific? Why does that even need to be in the story? Why not just right in the middle of the night? Very early in the day, around 1 a.m., approaching 1:20. They got to hit you with 1:18. Gematria. You just look at the headlines every day, it's this way. Let's go out to 708. Okay, maybe they went away. Let's go out to 346. 346, you're on. Three, 4, 6. All right, let's try out. It's George. What's up, George?
Hello, Zach. I'm sorry. Good evening.
Yeah. What's going on?
How's my audio? Hello, Zach. Sorry.
You can be heard. You sound just fine.
Sorry, my radio just went off. Okay, I'll be quick. Sorry, I wasn't able to borrow my brother-in-law's phone, so I'll just make a couple of quick points. One, I know you've got at least one video about James William Buffett, who was born on the 25th of December 1946, and just died on Friday, September the 1st, Labor Day weekend. I posted a comment in your video on his death, and his very first song, which came out, his very first hit in 1974, is called Come Monday. He talks about Labor Day weekend. So something you've mentioned before is oftentimes when they kill their celebrities, they'll make a reference to something for which they're famous, a movie, a song, something like that. Now, just a couple of things. Now, to tie this back to the Vatican, Jimmy Buffett went to Ignatius School and to McGill Boys School, in both of which are Mobile, Alabama. And you mentioned on Monday, Labor Day, September 4th, Steve Harwell of Smash Mouth died. His wife, Michelle Larocque, her father was a Romanian Jew, and her mom was a French Catholic.
Okay.
All right, and if I could just mention one other thing before I sign off. Are you familiar with Sir Mark Thompson?
No.
Okay, most people are not. He was born July 31st, 1957. He's currently the news director for CNN. Since 2012, he had been the chairman of the New York Times. And as I said, he's Sir Mark Thompson, so he's a British subject. He went to Stonyhurst College in England, which is a Jesuit school. Now, originally he started out with the BBC, the British Broadcast Corporation. So Thompson has worked with probably the 3 biggest propaganda outlets in the world.
I see.
Okay, so I realize you probably have other callers. Just like to make my weekly contribution.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, George. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So just one quick thing. I know you're not going to be in New York, but are you doing anything special like this Monday?
For what day?
September the 11th. We're coming up on the 22nd anniversary.
Well, I'm thinking about going out to Seattle the day before the game, Sunday, and try and wake the fans up to the rigged NFL and also talk about 9/11 since it's the anniversary. And Seattle actually does have a lot to do with 9/11. And then I want to get out to University of Idaho pretty soon and talk to them about the Kings Road killings last year on Charles' birthday. And perhaps I'll wait till the anniversary of that happening to do it. And then we'll see. Yeah, I mean, pretty soon we'll be back down in LA, and I'm hoping I can get support back up because I imagine just that there'll be some big events between now and election time, and sometimes we like to get out there to those cities after events happen. So some things we'll have to play it by ear.
Well, okay. If I can just, I said I was going to sign up. Do you mind if I just mention one last thing? Now the Maui fire. That was almost a month ago, August the 8th. So before you know it, it'll be a year from now and a decade, and it'll just fade in people's memory. They say, oh, didn't something happen in Hawaii on August 8th, 2023? And unless you're there, it'll just be another footnote in history that nobody knows about or talks about. And they can keep getting away with these sort of things, just like they did in Paradise, California, for example, and what they're doing in all sorts of other places. And I know you've said this before, but the cliche, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Well, those who don't keep up on current events are doomed to, have more of their freedoms and rights and liberties, taken away from them.
Sure.
So keep up the good work, and I'll get a hold of Johnny to see if we can have you on.
All right, sounds good, George. Appreciate it.
Well, have a good evening.
Yeah, you too. Take care. All right, let's go out to 346.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Welcome.
So, there was a story in the news about Kamala Harris that she's ready to take over.
Let me look it up.
I wanted to know, huh?
I'm looking up. Kamala Harris says she may have to take over. Yeah, here it is. Okay.
Yeah. So I was wondering if she does, what will that do for the election? Does that cancel it or?
What do you mean? Well, why would that cancel it?
I mean, will she get a new 4 years or will she just, how does that work?
Well, if she had to take over before the election, she'd be in office until the election, and then she'd have to win re-election to stay president.
Oh, okay. I thought she would get a new. Oh, okay. I'm still sticking with my November 2nd prediction.
Okay. Okay.
It's today, leaving 59 days left in the year. It's also the day the Chicago Cubs won the World Series. November 2nd, was it 2016?
Oh, yeah. Today leaves 116 days left in the year. African American won 16. Ketanji Brown Jackson, the 116th Supreme Court Justice. Barack Hussein Obama equals 116. The Dodgers won the 116th World Series right after Chadwick Boseman died on the makeshift Jackie Robinson Day, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, right. I see why they did that today. Yeah, good observation.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's all I had. I just wanted to ask that question.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Kamala's going to turn 59 later this year, you guys. On October 20th, Kamala will be 59. And again, it was the 59th U.S. presidential election. And it was all synced up with Pope Francis, whose name equals 59. And there's all the parallels with John F. Kennedy, which equals 59. And again, Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year for Francis to take over. And the election all synced with the Pope. So, and Kamala comes out of San Francisco, right? Named after St. Francis of Assisi, just like Pope Francis. But hold on. Let's see. From her last birthday, October 20th, 2022 to today, September 6th, it's 321 days after her birthday, which also means it's her 322nd day of her age. And in fact, if you count the span, we know 322, right? Number of Yayo, Skull and Bones, and Yayo will turn 322 years old on October 9th. But notice, from her birthday to today is also exactly a span of 46 weeks. And she's saying she's ready to take over for number 46. How about that? So that is interesting. 44 days before her birthday as well. African American has the gematria 44 as well as 116, in light of today leaving 116 days in the year. Obama number 44, right? The parallels with Obama. Joe Biden, the VP to Obama, so 44 days before her upcoming birthday. Again, one more time in gematria, Joe Biden's 44, who was VP to number 44. The story that Jill has the cooties, and she was with Biden while she had it, so he could be in the stages again. They were doing this with the Charles and the Queen. King Charles and Queen Elizabeth, they were doing this a little more than a year ago. Okay, good observation. Appreciate that one. And let's go out to Texas, 817. 817.
What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I don't want to take away from what you were saying about the Jesuits and all that stuff behind it, and how they use the numbers and everything, because I do believe that they do all that. You know what I mean? But I see that you're wearing the shirt that says Gematria Effect, and that makes me think that maybe you're a little familiar with the Mandela Effect as well. I'm not sure, but
You know, hold on. It's funny. I don't know if all the years I've ever done this show, if anybody's ever brought that together. Okay, I'm thinking about something, though. If you rewound to when I first joined this news network 7 years ago, Chris Gio had me on his show that week as well, just to help introduce me more to the audiences. And the one question he asked me is what I knew about the Mandela effect. And he's also the one who insisted the name of this show must be Gematria Effect. So actually now I'm wondering if maybe that's why he was so set on the name Gematria Effect, because he liked the Mandela Effect a lot. And I never thought about that before you just asked it to me. That's not why. It could be the reason the show's called that, but it doesn't have anything to do with my thought process. So go ahead.
I understand. I'm just saying if you're familiar with it, though, because I've had some sort of, and I followed you for a while now, had some sort of new perspective on all this gematria. And could it be that these numbers are lining up because things have changed? Because, and I'm not, before you answer that, I don't know if you remember when Russia went into Ukraine. I remember that being 2/22/22. And then all of a sudden, everywhere know that was the 24th.
No. You do remember it right. They did go into, Russia went into Ukraine on February 22nd, but they didn't start a military campaign until February 24th. So you do remember it right. You got to remember the specific.
And then there was a, I know this is going to sound wild to all your callers, but I remember George W. Bush, Donald Trump, were both born in 1948. And I remember Bill Clinton being born in 1947. And now all three of those men's birthdays are 1946. And I know Bill Clinton was older than him by a year. And I'm just blown away. I've seen a personal Mandela effect. I was in Jerusalem, if I could tell this little story, in 2014, and I looked up a passage for a gentleman, Isaiah 4 verse 1. It changed from 6 women to 7. And this is before anybody told me anything about Mandela effect. And I've been seeing 67s everywhere. I remember the flag used to have 6 stripes out beside the blue field. Now that's turned to 7. There used to be 7 beneath. Now there's 6. I mean, could it be that the crap is changing around us and we're not able to realize how these numbers are syncing up like this?
I'm not having that much trouble putting it together why it's syncing up like this. And again, the Mandela effect, I mean, how come it never happens to the Bible? You know what I mean? So
it does happen to the Bible. That was Isaiah 4 verse 1 I'm talking about. Changed from 6 to 7 women. It's a bunch of Bible changes.
Well, and all the time I've been doing the research, all 3 of those guys have been born in 46. Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and George W. Bush. So, I don't know.
I have a feeling it's all going to go back the way it was, and we're going to be shocked. But I just wanted to throw that out there. I remember both of those guys were born in 48, Trump and Bush. And Bill Clinton was part of Generation B. He wasn't a boomer. He was 47. I mean,
All right. Well, I appreciate all the observations and thoughts. Thank you so much. You have a good night.
Absolutely.
Again, you guys, those kind of things is like, well, that's the way I remember it. You guys, I'll tell you what I also said about the Mandela effect back in 2016 when it was a more viral topic. Interesting, but again, it's just another thing that just makes us get like more confused and more lost. And what we're doing over here on this channel is saying, look at how all of this lines up perfectly with the Pope and the Superior General in history and how the same patterns keep repeating and where they're taking us to. And while other people have been losing their minds over the Mandela effect, we've been accurately forecasting the future and showing how it's continuously lined up with the Pope and Superior General. And again, I mean, to me, that's a worthy thing to talk about. It's like, imagine gathering a bunch of men to say, all right, today we're gonna do something about this tyranny. And here's the information about who we need to attack and why. You can do that with this work. This work shows who's oppressing, who's terrorizing, who the tyrants are. That's what this knowledge does. Now imagine 100 men coming together and go, whoa, Bernstein Bears, the line in Star Wars, mirror in the wall. It's just like, well, what is the point of this? Again, and just like the last caller, I mean, it's like, okay, I don't remember their birth years ever being that. And yeah, they did go in the country on February 22nd, but the military operation started February 24th. I think the Mandela effect is just people who misremember things a certain way, or a lot of things were rephrased another way. Like, what is it, Luke, I am your father, or whatever it is from Star Wars that's Mandela affected. I mean, I didn't ever watch Star Wars. I don't even know if I ever watched the scene, actually. I probably just heard it from other kids say it on the playground. But anyway, it's just, I try to stay focused and in a direction, not just like, oh, my mind's lost over this because I don't know how to explain how it went from Berenstein to Bernstein. Okay, let's go out to 513. What's up, 513? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're on.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, my brother? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Sir, I would like for you to sort of like go into more detail about the abrupt death of Bray Wyatt. I kind of foreshadowed it. I kind of seen it coming. I was maybe thinking maybe 3 years from now that it was going to that it was going to happen, that it was going to take place. I didn't see his death coming this early. I was thinking more of him I was thinking more of not really a real, not a real death for instance, him dying. I was thinking more of him maybe just, calling it quits, maybe just retiring. But I've been trying to get to get most WWE fans. I'm a WWE fan as well, also, but I've been trying to get the hardcore WWE fans and also the casual WWE fans to get them to what is the coincidence that Bray Wyatt ended up passing away on the owner of WWE's birthday. I'm trying to get them to come to their senses and get them to see that it's not a coincidence. How do I go about that? How do I go about doing that to get them to open up their eyes on the evil and the satanic stuff that's being done right in front of their faces when it comes to the WWE program on a consistent basis?
Well, again, his birth name for Bray Wyatt, his birth name's Wyndham Rotunda, which equals 78, and he did die on Vince McMahon's 78th birthday. I mean, explain to people that gematria is this thing that's common in Jewish culture. They know about it because Hebrew, every letter's a number. You add up words. They understand what gematria is in Judaism. But you go to other cultures, they have never heard of this. They think it's some crazy thing. But then you show them how simple it is and how these things line up day after day. I mean, that's the way I'd go about it. And you got about 1,000 other examples of WWE deaths synced up with Vince McMahon. But yeah, this is a pretty obvious one. So Bray Wyatt, 36, his age of death. The last time he performed was in the 36th Royal Rumble.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's how I go about it.
And another thing that caught my attention is, I think a lot of these people, they know that their time is running short. They know that their number is just about going to be called. And another thing, Bray Wyatt was born in the year of the rabbit, and he transitioned in the year of the rabbit, and he came back with the whole white rabbit theme.
Okay.
So that's another thing that kind of caught my eye as well. Him being born in the year of the rabbit, and him being me doing further research, deeper research into the white rabbit. It means that it's a sort of like programming with that whole kind of theme, with that whole kind of the white rabbit. It's a some kind of program, and I looked it up. I looked it up the week before. Last week, early last week when I looked it up, and it's kind of when you dive into the white rabbit, it kind of tells you that it's sort of like an inspiration. It's sort of like an inspiration for programming. So I do believe that's why Bray Wyatt, that's why he came back with that with that whole the whole white rabbit coding, because he knew that his time was his number was about to be called. So I just want a way that I can go to, that I can present this information to the typical WWE fan, to get them to wake up and realize that the sacrifices that are being done in WWE. Because I haven't been able to watch since the death of Bray Wyatt. I have not been able to watch anything that has anything to do with either anything to do with WWE or anything dealing with WWE. I haven't been able to watch because I can't really fall in line with the negativity that's being displayed, and it's real sick. It's real sick on what's going on right now. Very sick.
Well, not just right now. It's been going on. This has been going on for all of our lifetimes. It's just we're catching on to it. For the record, Bray Wyatt has the same gematria as White Rabbit in Jesuit order. And again, Jesuit alone 78, like how he died on the 78th birthday of Vince McMahon, and it goes with the 78 cards in the tarot deck. And yeah. So that's how I try to wake your friend up to it. Just focus on all the 36s and 78s. Bray Wyatt, heart attack, and his birth name, Wyndham, are all 36. His age of death, and again, his birth name, Wyndham Rotunda, 78, on Vince's 78th birthday. I mean, that should spark somebody's interest.
and also they were so quick to you have with after they heard the news, and later on that day on the 24th they come I think it was either late on the 24th or the next day they came out with the story that he had a heart attack because of some type of heart condition that was made worse by COVID. And you in every story you have an official story, and also you have an unofficial story. They were so quick to fall for the story that came out that they put out there. And I was trying to get them to wake up and trying to get them to see that there's always two sides to every story. Some stories, you might have multiple sides on just depending on the situation in hand that's attached to the story. You can have more than one reason why. I mean, you only would know if you actually have proof. What I'm trying to get them to see that it was not Bray Wyatt cause of death was not because of a heart attack. It was not because of no COVID. It was not because he was depressed or anything like that. It was just because it was time.
Hold on, we got a commercial break.
I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is the cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
This is about, I say what I say, what I do. Expression goes, the proof of the is in the eating. You'll find out. It's been a long day for y'all. I just finished the last meeting. I made it clear to President Putin. I told him, corn pop was a bad dude. Bottom line is, I told President Putin, I got a very unique. After 2 hours there, we looked at each other like, okay, what next? You've heard me say this before, again and again. I'm going to keep saying it. Come on, man. I made it clear. Well, I tell you what, I'm following the rules, man. This is about, I say what I say, what I do. I did what I came to do. Find out. This is about, I say what I say, what I do. Expression goes, the proof of the is in the eating. Find out. Biden said he'd invade Russia. That was a joke. This is not a kumbaya moment. Let's hug and love each other. Folks, look, I caught part of President Putin's press conference. I told him, come on, man. I'm going to keep saying it. Come on, man. And so it was kind of after anyway. This is about, I say what I say, what I do. I did what I came to do. Find out. This is about, I say what I say, what I do. Expression goes, the proof of the is in the eating. Find out.
Я думаю, что для всех очевидным является тот факт, что президент Байден, когда конкретно там завтра, послезавтра, это вопрос, коллеги на рабочем уровне определяться с составом делегации. Не было никакой враждебности, наоборот, наша встреча происходила. Я думаю, ничего сложного не скажу. Это будет понятно. Второе отношение, да, еще говорили о сотрудничестве в Арктике.
This is about, I say what I say, what I do. I did what I came to do. Find out.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Culture. Don't watch. Don't read. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, I think we're back. Again, I don't know what's going on with the sound in recent weeks. It's like it's sort of there. It's like normally it's either there or it's not there at all. Like in recent weeks, it's been sort of there. But okay, caller got cut off, and hold on, some people shifted around. Shoot, 346. 346. They got something else playing in the background. 301.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Pretty good. I'll make mine super quick. So I wanted to see, I'm a longtime subscriber of yours. I love your channel. You're one of the top 3 favorite channels of mine on YouTube. And I wanted to see if you could make a video on what you think about the Raiders winning the Super Bowl with the rigged NFL.
Yeah, Raiders. I guess the one narrative that I'd have for the Raiders is just if they were paying tribute to Oakland. Oakland's 58 town. It is the year of Super Bowl 58. Of course, the Raiders are hosting. They'd become the 3rd team ever to play in their own Super Bowl. The first to do it was Tampa in 55, then the Rams in 56. Oakland would be the 3rd, or now Las Vegas. But yeah, I don't know. There's some other narratives that I've seen building this off season. I haven't been thinking so much the Raiders, but I can look more into that.
Okay, that's all I got. I appreciate you, brother. Keep up the good work.
All right, yeah, take care. Yeah, Oakland's 58 town, but and you know what? Today's got 58 date numerology, and Oakland even won their baseball game today. Let's go out to 623. 623, you're on.
Hey, Zach, how you doing? This is Anthony.
Hey, what's up?
I just want to start off just by saying thank you for your work and the dedication you do to this. So I got a couple of questions. My first one is I'm in your Patreon, and I was looking at the Blue Jays against the Athletics today. And I was going off of this one because I like the date numerology, the 4 and the 58. And I ended up going with the Blue Jays, but they didn't get the win. So I just want to know from the date numerology, because there's a lot of them when I put them in the calculator. Like which ones are you lean towards? Like, what makes you choose those numbers?
Well, again, one of today's date numerologies was 58, and Oakland does equal 58. And it's just like yesterday was 9-5, and the 2 teams with the 95 connections both won, the Blue Jays and Baltimore. But, yeah, I mean, that was a tricky game today because looking at the other way, if you run it the other way, Oakland's 41, and you had the 41s in favor of the Blue Jays. But yeah, the date numerology, I mean, if you're on Patreon, I write out every single day in the notes how I break down the numerology and why I select the numbers that I do. So yeah, we'll be doing a sports live stream tomorrow. You can call in about that tomorrow, but yeah, I mean, it's written down literally every single day. So I'm just surprised that if you're on Patreon, you'd have to ask me that question.
Right, okay. And another thing about your Patreon. So if you're logged out from it, and if you like just click on like your name from Patreon, and we can see your post. But if you're logged out and if you're not subscribed from it, I can still see the link and the password to your what you post. So even if a person is not subscribed to your Patreon, they can still get the information that you're posting on there.
Huh, you should only be able to see it if you're actually a member. So that's also weird. I don't know.
Yeah, so if you can try it out, I'm trying to help you with this one, because you can see the post. So right, we can't click on it because it's a link of what you're posting with the password. But you can see the link, and they can just type down or copy and paste the link, and the password is also there on the post.
Okay, I'll look into that. That's interesting.
Yeah. And I'm saying this because I support your work, and I'm not a fan of the trolls just finding a way on trying to get your information for free.
Okay, all right, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.
All right, yeah, take care. Okay, let's go out to 502. What's up, 502?
Thanks, Zach. Just wanted to real quick say, sorry, let me get you off speaker. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm a Patreon. Love your work. Look forward to your new book. I've been having trouble the past couple of years with the football, like picking the teams each week. What do you do?
Look for the patterns that hit season after season. Follow the most consistent narratives and numbers.
Do you make a pros and cons and like put them on one side, just like go down and look at them? I know you look.
I break down every single game. I look at all the numbers. I highlight the numbers, and then I write a conclusion and try to sort out the best games each week.
Okay, because I've been like losing my butt trying this, and it's like I should just do the opposite, I guess, of what I think. I just for some reason I'm not seeing the numbers and the connections until the game's already happened. And,
okay.
Well, anyway, thank you for all the work you do. I appreciate it, and good show.
All right, appreciate it, man. Later. I don't understand these calls. Really, it's like are these just troll calls? That's what it feels like. Anyway, let's go to Michigan. Michigan, what's up? 810.
Sounds like wasted days and wasted nights to me.
Yeah, it's like
these guys are tripping. Anyway, have you noticed all of the SWAT team raids going on here in the last month or so? I mean, there's been like 4, 5, or 6 FBI SWAT team raids where they're killing veterans and raiding their homes. And I mean, I just heard of one here in Michigan. 5 handicapped people. The gal who owned the house was in the hospital having an emergency surgery. Her handicapped amputee brother was there. He's got some mental issues. The mother, who's got dementia, lives there. A daughter in a wheelchair that's paralyzed from the breastbone down. And then her son, he's got some, he's handicapped as well. So there was 4 people in the house. The owner was in the hospital having surgery. They're all handicapped, so pretty severely. Pre-dawn, 50 freaking cops. This is up in northern Michigan. There ain't even 50 cops in the county. And 50 cops, some task force crap, they battery rammed the door down and wouldn't give them a warrant until they finished and they took everybody's phones. They didn't kill anybody, thank goodness, but they took everybody's phones, all the electronics. They took a satellite box. I don't know if it was, DirecTV or something, and an ex-boyfriend who was like, a partier, drinker, and they'd get in fights, and there were fights. Him and his son lived there. I don't know the whole story, but they unplugged this woman's refrigerator, and all her insulin and food went bad because nobody thought to check to see if they unplugged the fridge, the fridge freezer, and they turned the house upside down and left the warrant on the table, and it said the warrant was for suspicious activity.
Okay.
I mean, this is what's going on in the U.S.
Yeah,
right now.
Sounds like the YouTube terms of service. They'll just do whatever they want with a real vague excuse. I said it just sounds like the YouTube terms of service. They'll just do whatever they want politically with a real vague description of why they did it. So.
Right. And then I just heard on Guns and Gadgets. It's a YouTube channel. If you ever listen to that, this guy posts 2 or 3 posts a day, and about legislation and stuff about guns. And anyway, they raided a J6er today in Fayetteville, Arkansas, 2.5 years after the event, and said he was a terrorist. He didn't do anything. Nothing happened while he was there. He just was standing on the property, the people's property, right? And they arrested him and raided his house, trashed his house. His wife had just had a miscarriage. And, I mean, this is what we're dealing with, people. We need to wake the hell up. They are coming for everybody.
Indeed.
Well, I don't know if you've looked at any of that stuff, where the numbers are at with any of it, but it sure would be interesting to hear your take, on all these raids that have been going on for the last month or two.
I didn't realize there had been more SWAT raids, but one of the deaths in the headlines is a guy who's a writer for the show SWAT, so maybe that's part of it. I'll have to take a look.
Wow. Okay. All right, that's all I got, brother. Thanks, Zach.
All right, appreciate it. You have a good night. Yeah, the writer for Luke Cage is also the writer for SWAT and Brokology. And again, he died by a very familiar pattern, one of the recent headlines. Let's go out to 443, Maryland.
Hey, Zach, how you doing?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, I'm coming in late. I don't know if you discussed it or not. I just saw that Bruce Springsteen had to cancel all his tours this month because he's in the hospital today for peptic ulcer disease. Not sure if this might be the next one to go. Today is a 38 date numerology, and of course the boss equals 38. He is from Philadelphia, 73 years old. I didn't know if you had heard anything about that.
Who is it again?
The boss in the hospital.
Bruce Springsteen. I'm looking up headlines here. Let's see. The streets of Philadelphia. NFL season's getting underway. Let's see. Yeah, 73. Yeah, he's coming up on some interest. 73 and 74, both faithful numbers. Interesting. Yeah, he could be next. You just never know.
So there was something else that came out yesterday in this area. There was a Twitter, or I don't know what you call it, X now, that somebody put out that an elementary school in Silver Spring, Maryland, and this was reported on Fox News, was bringing back their mask mandates due to some students having COVID, and they mentioned that it was third graders. Only if you look up the school only goes up to second grade, which is kind of odd in and of itself.
Sure.
The name of the school is Rosemary Hills Elementary School, and it has pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. And the headline of the Twitter post, it definitely said third grade. And I think all this is just a bunch of scare shit. Maybe they're trying to just get people pissed off. I don't know. Trying to float it out there just to get people pissed enough to wake up.
Sure.
Hopefully.
Sure.
Maybe. Or they just flat out lie anyway.
Well, they're always trying to agitate everybody, so. Yeah, interesting. All right, well, I'll look more into both of those things.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
All right, see you.
Yeah, you have a good night. Let's go out to New Orleans, 504.
What up, Zach?
How you doing?
I'm all right, man. I'm a big fan of the show. I've been following your work for a while. But I was just sitting up here listening to the show and playing around with my calculator. I see that Travis Kelce from the Kansas City Chiefs have a knee injury. And Travis and knee adds up 35 and 73 in the calculator. And he have a knee injury and he might not be playing week 1. And his whole name sync up with it too. Travis Kelce and knee injury.
Interesting. Okay. I'll have to look more into that one. Again, they tried to make it seem like he was banged up for the Super Bowl and he was just fine, catching that 87th touchdown, number 87. The word tight end's also 87. But, yeah, and again, they love to do these things all season just to make, now people are like, oh, man, maybe the Lions really can get the Chiefs. And, since Thursday is so often about 35, it's interesting because the 35 Thursday can fall on either side in this opening game. But if the Lions did upset the Chiefs, it'd be the first time in 35 years that Detroit won in Kansas City. And last week in college football, it was 35 Thursday, 35 points scored, Utah over Florida. So,
right. And another thing, just to touch on what the young man was talking about with the white bunny thing. I also was sitting up here looking over the old Super Bowl from last year, and the Dorito commercial had bunnies kidnapping people. Youth Black 182 was a part of the Super Bowl, and their mascot is a bunny. And had their Hevel, the first episode of Bugs Bunny. When they introduced the Martian, Marvin the Martian, he kidnapped Bugs Bunny. So I believe the white bunny thing have a lot to do with the alien stuff that they putting on us right now.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's go back and look at that.
But that's all I wanted to say, my brother. Keep up the great work, and I'm trying to become an apprentice of the show also.
All right, yeah, call us again. Great call, thank you.
All right, my brother. Have a nice night.
You too. Thank you. All right, New Orleans, good city. And again, it's funny that New Orleans trip is when I was down there, that's when the whole really finding out about the number 201 happened. Strange story when I was down there in New Orleans. Somebody started blowing up my phone saying I need to research event 201. That was back in January of 2020 when the whole COVID thing was just getting underway. Let's go out to 607. 607, you're on.
Yo.
Yo.
The Yankees game tonight. It was the 8th inning. The bases were loaded. The Yankees were up 4-3, and there were 2 outs. And so they bring in Gregory Weitzer. He's a pitcher that went to Fordham. And so he got the 1 out. and he came in with 20 career innings pitched. He got 1 out to get out of the inning. So he finished with 20.1 career innings pitched from Fordham. He gets the Yankees out of the jam. Fordham equals 34. The scoreboard looks like 3-4. And Gregory R. Weissert, how it's written on his baseball reference page, it equals 201. So just right on with the 201. They use that number all the time. I was watching a college football game this week, and the ref came out to the middle of the field and said, "Could you please reset the field clock to 2 minutes, 1 second, 2:01."
Yeah, perfect.
And there was another 2:01 that I'm forgetting that just recently happened, but they just used that number. So ritualistically, the Detroit Tigers tonight threw 153 total pitches in the game. Of course, Jesuit order numbers.
Yeah, Yankees picked up that 38th win today on the 38 date numerology, that old Colorado number. And who beat Colorado today for their 38th win to end the series? Familiar patterns.
Yeah, tomorrow's game, of course, tomorrow has 39 date numerology. Tigers equals 39.
Like
and
New York,
equals
right?
39.
Right. Yeah, I wrote all this
And
down
New
this
York-
morning in my baseball notes.
Yeah, but the catch is, see, it's not that easy to pick winners because tomorrow, Kansas City Chiefs equals 64. Tomorrow, the Tigers could get the 64th win. And they're playing in football, they're opening the season against the Detroit Lions, the Chiefs are.
What do you mean they could get the What do you mean they could get the 64th win?
Tomorrow, the Detroit Tigers could get the 64th win on the day that they're fucking playing the Kansas City Chiefs 64.
The Tigers are playing the Chiefs. The MLB and the NFL are... Wait, hold on. The NFL and the MLB are having a game? You said you said the Detroit Tigers can get the 60... You mean the Lions?
The Detroit Tigers and Detroit Lions are in the same city, so
Right.
they'd be synced up together. You don't think they'd be synced up?
No, they could be. You're saying the Tigers can get the six... I just... What was the 64? That was what I asked you the question. What was the 64 they can pick up?
The Tigers can pick up their 64th win tomorrow. The same day the Detroit Lions are playing the Kansas City Chiefs, and Kansas City Chiefs equals 64.
So what's the more logical thing to do? To follow the date numerologies that have been hitting all year in 39, the overlap number with New York and Tigers in the actual baseball game, or then to say like, oh, I'm not sure because then in the NFL game, the Detroit team's playing 64. You see what I mean? You're kind of like crossing things that don't really need to be crossed.
But they do that all the time. It's not a...
But it'll be like the same number in both games, right? So... Yeah. Anyway,
just it's not going to be a surprise tomorrow. And also, Detroit Tigers equals 70 in the most pure cipher. The Yankees can fall to 70 and 70. In the most pure cipher, Detroit Tigers 70. They can fall to 70 and 70. And patterns can break on the third day. Like we followed the date numerology for the first 2 games of this series. And also, double gematria.
Like, Joey, just let me stop. Just, Joey, what is your point? Like, what is the point of this call? Is this point to help people understand why gematria is important, or is it to make it really confusing and just sound like this worthless thing? Because honestly, if I didn't know anything, I just heard your call right here, if I just had a soundless call, I'd be like, oh, this sounds like a good reason that maybe gematria is, like, not worth learning. This guy's saying you got to, like, look at the...
They set it up perfectly.
Okay. All right, adios, Joey. Again, you guys, if you just follow the consistent patterns, you won't win every time, but you'll win the vast majority. Like, what he's saying is just, like, making things overly confusing. Yankees just won 3 straight games against the Astros. They picked up the 17th, 18th, and 19th wins versus the West on 17, 18, and 19 date numerology. And, yeah, there is a risk in that third game after they hit the first 2 that maybe it does break in the third game. I mean, that's something I say. But, again, it's just like... the two numbers that overlap with Tigers in New York are 39. And they're playing each other in baseball on a 39 date numerology, and that number can show up in the game. And it's not a guarantee that it's going to come up in the game. But, Joey's only been with us for so long, but in my mind, I'm not going like, oh, man, I'm not so sure about that 39 because Detroit's also playing Kansas City in the NFL on the same day, and then that Kansas City equals 64. I mean, it's just... Again, just follow the more likely pattern. Or if that makes you uncomfortable, then just don't play that game and look for the best game. But then don't call in a radio show and call in about what game you're torn on tomorrow because, again, the point of like calling into the show should be to bring something that's not confusing to you, that you're not torn on. Like, what's the point of even calling in about that? Call in and do something that makes the work look important, which it is. So, okay. Let's go out to 916. What's up, 916? Hold on. We have a commercial. I'm coming right back to you after the break, 916.
Is going to be a player in your life, but you get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. He was let go from that safe job, and our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what
It's amazing how people have been raving about iAlife all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with iAlife, it's a 99% pure CBD oil. But the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with iAlife. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to ialife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's ialife.com, AYAlife.com.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, it's TFR. Bruce Frequency 90.
All right. Again, for some reason, a lot of the audio is not coming through, but hopefully I'm not talking over a commercial for people listening on TFR. We got about 10 people on hold. If you do want to be part of tonight's show, it's probably smarter to phone in sooner than later to make sure you get on the call board in line. And let's go back out to 916. Again, that number to call in tonight if you want to be part of the show, 213-233-3998. And 916, you're on.
Zach?
Yeah, what's up?
It's Jesse from Sacramento.
Yeah, how you doing, Jesse?
How you been?
I've been doing all right. How have you been?
Been good, good. I was just thinking kind of right before that last caller, and I can't stress enough too about just kind of like keeping it simple when you're trying to explain gematria to people, because you can lose people very fast. So I always try to make it simple as I can. Like I always kind of stick to the same, bring up all the 56s with COVID, all the 41s with Kobe again, and then kind of like all these, because this goes on every day. Speaking of, was this the first lady getting COVID? What was it, yesterday or the day before? I mean, but just kind of going, just making it simple as you can. Don't get too. That's kind of the whole thing with the sports. I mean, I'm all for like decoding sports and everything too, because that's part of all this. But when you get too caught up in it, lost in it, I mean, you can kind of confuse people right away. People are really, really shallow-minded, so
yeah,
you gotta make it.
Again, exactly. You just got to keep it simple. It's just like the Smash Mouth singer's death. He's from near you in the Bay Area. It's easy to show people how the band started in '94 and how he just happens to be dead on 9/4. And also on the anniversary of the band putting out their last album titled Magic, 11 years to the day. I mean, that's a really easy thing to show somebody. And, I just watched another YouTube's Gematria Decoding channel on his death, and nowhere in there do they mention that the band came out in '94 or that the last album came out on that day, but they're connecting his death to all these really obscure things. And I was watching the whole video just kind of in disbelief. I was like, I can't imagine like this being my first Gematria video and thinking Gematria would be worth anything watching this guy's video. I mean, he's just making it so complicated, and it's really not. You show him how he's from Santa Clara, Jesuit town, and how it has the '94 connection. I mean, that's an easy thing to show. So, anyway.
Yeah, yesterday you mentioned something about, you were saying like wasting your time with all these other YouTube channels when they're not even talking about what really matters. I mean, when you bring up something about, I know you said something, you said a key word to me, and you said the root, like getting to the root. And it's kind of funny because before I started waking up, there was one day, and before I even came to your channel, I didn't even know, Gematria existed or Kabbalah, But before that existed, I remember it was back in like 2016, kind of around that time. I was out, I was really into planting plants, outside of my, my house, my property. And I was outside planting a plant one day, and I'm sitting there thinking as I'm planting the plant, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, if I ever have a question, about anything, I have to get to the root. And I was looking at the plant, and I was looking at the root of the plant. I'm like, man, I have to get to the root of this plant, that's where everything starts, from the root, right? The seed, and you got the root. And you were talking about the root. I'm thinking about, the root of all this. Where does all this come from? What, who's doing all this? And it's, if you leave that part out of it, you might as well just leave it all out, because that's like, it's the root of it all, Speaking of the Jesuits, right? Kind of crazy because have you ever brought up the Carroll family?
You mean?
I'm sure you have.
John Carroll's family?
Yeah, John Carroll, Dan. His two brothers. It's kind of crazy because I came up on them yesterday. I don't know. It just kind of, sometimes stuff just pop up on me, and I'm like, man, this is interesting. I mean, I already knew what it was, and they're all Jesuits, right? But that's the thing. People, what's one of the books that I found? One of the books is Rulers of Evil, and it's by I can't. It is named Tupper or Saucy or Tupper, and then Saucy is Saussy, and the book is Rulers of Evil. So I'm gonna read this book, and go through it, because I think that's what we need to do. Like, me, if I need to study the enemy, right? That's the Jesuits. If I want to be completely awake to what's going on, I mean, I already know with the gematria. It's like, come on, what else do we need? But I think that's what one needs to do, to study who's really doing these evil.
Know your enemy.
Whatever you want to call them.
Know your enemy.
Yeah, our enemy. Yeah, our enemy, all of our enemy, humanity's enemy.
Right, and that phrase,
when you get it.
That phrase, know your enemy, comes from Sun Tzu's Art of War. And again, the only reason we know about that book is because of the Jesuit priest, Father Amyot. And again, there's no historical record of Sun Tzu ever existed, but you just start to see the jokes because, again, the Jesuits, the sun cult. So.
Exactly. But, yeah, that's just one thing. When I go out and pound pavement, it kind of sounds like I'm repeating myself a lot. I mean, I go over to... but I kind of like with the news that is, from the Maui fire to, what was this, Burning Man ritual that was going on. I try to just make it as simple as I can. I try not to lose people, because you can easily do that.
Yeah, weather modification, weather warfare. It's a little bit too much for most people because they just have no idea. So.
One of the things in that Burning Man, it was like they were saying they were trapped, right? I know I typed in trapped, right? And I typed in weather, and it was crazy how it matched in all four ciphers. Trapped in weather.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
But yeah, all right, Zach. I just wanted to check in, man, and. No, I didn't call, but yeah, we need just keep it simple, man. I know you got a couple books coming out, or a book coming out, right? That's gonna.
There should be 3 short books. There should be 3 short books on the way, all pretty soon. I'm worried that this one I've been working on with Maui, it's such a big deal, but like everybody already forgot about it, so it's sad.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, Zach, I'll let you go, man.
All right, appreciate it,
man. Thank you for taking my call, man.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you have a good day. You and your son. Take care.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah, see you. All right, let's go out to 347.
Zach.
Yeah.
Did you hear me?
I can hear you.
I hit you up in the YouTube comments over the argument I had over the online game that the content creator covered.
Okay.
All right, so go on X and look up @KFramed.
Look up what?
@KFramed.
K-framed? Okay.
Yeah.
I found you. Okay, and then what do you want me to see?
I found him in the area of the game, and I didn't let on that I knew who it was, but I did use the opportunity to make a couple of people look crazy, including like the Catholic Church. So I don't reach many people, but I knew this was an opportunity to maybe get it out there.
You're saying a video game channel, you try to let them know about Gematria?
Right.
Okay.
I try to make the Catholic Church look insane and drop a 201 in there.
Okay. And did you get any responses?
I mean, it has 100K views. I mean, a lot of people are seeing it. He's going to put out a video on it.
He's going to put out a video on Gematria?
No, on me.
On you?
Featured in the video.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And people can watch this on Twitter or where?
He has a YouTube channel, but yeah, I'll put it on X, I suppose.
Okay, I see the YouTube channel. So it's going to be on here, and you're going to be featured.
you could see under media, most sane PVMer. They had the screenshots of there, and you could see the chat box. I'm just trying to reach people, just trying to get the word out. Maybe you could pop in there, drop the channel or something like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got the channel up on the screen so people can check it out.
Cool, Zach. I'll let you go.
All right. Yeah, take care.
Later.
Isn't it crazy? The views. Here's the views on watching a guy play video games. Hundreds of thousands of views. Man, if only people cared about the truth like that. But apparently that group's going to learn about Gematria, so that's interesting. Way to get the word out there. Let's go out to 859. 859, you're on.
Hey, Zach. This is Brandon. I hate it when everybody says it. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
I love it when you go, indeed. So I know you don't cover iPet Goat 2, but I know you know what iPet Goat 2 is from Heliofont, which is the predictive programming animated cartoon that predicts the second 9/11. Well, funny thing happened just today that I'm looking for a turn here. I hate it when people are talking real slow when they're talking to you as well. So Heliofont today that made that animation, their website is no longer up, and they took down all their videos on YouTube, including iPet Goat 2. And why that is significant is because I'm sure you know about September 23rd, which is predictive programming in all kinds of movies, music videos, TV shows, the most crazy things. And why September 23rd would be important right now is it's 2023. So the fact that they just took this shit down is it's scary. And I can't believe more people actually aren't talking about it. And also, I wanted to ask you, what does 1290 mean to you?
I don't have any meaning of 1290.
Any context to go off?
I see the 129 in it.
Okay. All right. So the number of days from, and you, Zach, we talked before, you and I had something in common. We both got Omicron for the first time, or COVID for the first time, 666 days after the World Health Organization declared the pandemic on January 5th, 2022, which is also the day that America rolled out 5G. So 1290 is the number of days from 3/11/2020 to September 23rd, 2023. So I'm curious what 1290 days means to you. What's the significance of, not the square root number, well, maybe the square root number, but also there's a certain way you break something. Oh, not the triangular number. What's one of the other ones that you do?
Well, I mean, yeah, numbers have triangular relationships, square root. I'm not sure if 1290 is any number. I'd have to look into it. I'm pretty sure in all the years I've talked about Gematria, I've never talked about the number 1290. So.
Okay. All right. What about 129?
Well, 129 is 201 in base 8 counting, like 201 is 311 in base 8 counting, just like event 201 was the simulation, and then the pandemic was on 311, and Georgetown, for example, has the 129 Gematria, whereas the Jesuit order is 201. So that's what I see in that number, is the 129.
Oh my goodness, you just rattled those things off. I don't know how you have such a memory. And the last thing I'd like to cover,
here, I'm looking up things that are 1290 since you asked. Arturo Sosa's first name, or Arturo Sosa's full name is 1290, interestingly enough. That's the leader of the Jesuits. So I've never talked about this number before. The phrase Jesus wept. Apparently the name Zachary Hubbard in Jewish Gematria is 1290. That's too weird. I'm in the database.
Okay, yeah, and that's another big one right there, and I appreciate you throwing those out there at us. Zach, it's time to batten down the hatches. September 23rd is coming up quick, and I think people need to be prepared for that date, and even the day before, because just as when they were saying it could be September 22nd, I'm like, all right, well, which one is it? Well, if you talk to Zach, September 22nd can be the day that something happens and they break the news on September 23rd. So I wish you would do some decoding on that iPad Go too, but I understand that's not really your genre. But look, man, I appreciate you taking my call. Have a good night, Zach.
Okay, we definitely talked about iPad Goat in the past. I mean, it's just been out for a long time. It's been super analyzed. September 23rd is, again, the 266th day of the year. Isu Salvatore, the Jesuit motto, equals 266. We're in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, who's the 266th Pope, who spoke in D.C. on September 23rd, 2015. So this year will be the 8-year anniversary of the Pope speaking in D.C. Pope became the Pope March 13th, 2013. So it's been more than 10 years now. But yeah, there's always big hype for September 23rd. This year, that'll be a Saturday. Falls on a Saturday this year. I have to look into it some more. All right, 515, you're on.
Hey, Zach. So I'm not calling to troll. I've been following you actually for a while, but I haven't been following you too much recently. So I was kind of wondering, where are you at with the whole Jesus thing?
I don't know what you mean. Where am I at with the Jesus thing?
Okay, so like just personally, I wasn't super into it a while ago. Like I've been following you for like a couple years, and I even had this guy like on the street come up to me and he's like, Jesus is coming, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like seems like the Jesuits are all in control of that religion and stuff, and I was like not much of a believer in it myself. Over time, though, I'm definitely starting to think that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And just a couple interesting Bible verses I wanted to share with you. So that was from John 14:6, and it's just interesting that it says, I am the way, the truth, and we are here seeking what? The truth. But interestingly, so I know you're not a huge fan of like the Jesuits and the Catholic Church. So in Matthew 23:9, it says, and call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father, which is in heaven. And then this I found interesting. So I looked up, what does the word Pope mean? And the word Pope, I think if you search it on, I searched it on DuckDuckGo, but I think it showed me a Wikipedia result. It says the word Pope derives from Greek papas, meaning father, which that was really interesting to me, that there's a Bible verse that specifically says, call no man on earth your father. And then the head of the Catholic Church is called Father. That was interesting. And then also interesting, just along the lines of like the church. So in Matthew 16, verses 17 and 18, he's talking to Peter, who is, well, I'll just read the verses. You can derive your own meaning from it. But Jesus replied, blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Which I just thought was interesting that, and I'll quit after this, but I just thought it was interesting that you have, in Matthew 23:9, it says, your Father which is in heaven. And then in Matthew 16:17, it also kind of alludes back to that. It says, my Father in heaven is who revealed this to you, not anyone on earth.
Okay. Again, reading from the Bible doesn't prove the Bible true. Just like reading from any other religious text doesn't prove it true either. So I don't know why we always keep coming back to this with different colors.
Hey, I'll let you go. I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts. Have a good one.
Yeah, take care. But yeah, that is true about the Pope and the Father thing. And what's also true is if there wasn't the Pope in the Catholic Church, you would have never heard the name Jesus or heard about that story because they're the religion that spread it all across the world. Let's go out to 478. 478, what's up?
Hey, Zach. I just wanted to bring something to your attention really quick. Looking at the Lions and Chiefs game, noticed that the Lions are the only team that play every year on Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving in the pure cipher is 60. And I know you've been talking about 60 a lot in the news with Trump and whatnot. So kind of wanted to bring that to your attention. And
Just
then also
for the
Thanksgiving's
record, Thanksgiving also equals 66, and that number seems to show up every year in at least one of the games on Thanksgiving, just for when the day comes around. 66 is the 11th triangular number, like football's a game of 11 on 11, and November's the 11th month, and the first Super Bowl season was the 66th season, so anyhow.
Nice. And then Thanksgiving is on the 23rd, of course, and Chiefs in the pure cipher 32. So I thought that was interesting as well.
Okay. Looking ahead.
23 date numerology for that first game. So pretty interesting. Figure I'd bring it up to you.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. You have a good night. Let's go out to 951. You're on. Nine 5-1. Who's making a turn? Okay, let's try somebody else out. Let's go to 347.
Jack, how's it going? Good?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, I just heard a call talking about 922. And since 9/11, that's going to be the 8,046th day since 9/11. And, the towers got hit at 8:46 in the morning.
Right.
So, if you look at the Yankees record, their next loss is, I believe it's 8,046. And they play 9/11 versus Boston. Boston is 22, so it's going to be the 22-year anniversary. So it's kind of interesting that Boston is on 1,002 wins since 9/11 at home, and the building stood for 102 minutes. But I want to tell you the level of mockery that's going on there.
Okay.
There's other games too with the Nationals. Jill Biden equals 77. The Nationals stayed on 77 losses. The Mets stayed on 63 wins. She's born on 6-3. I wanted to kind of bring up the mockery level on 9/11 that they meet the Red Sox. Boston is 22, and the Yankees could potentially pick up their 8,046. I'm sorry, it's 846 loss since 9/11 away.
Right. Right.
Pretty crazy, man.
Just as you're talking Boston, classic number in Boston in Gematria, Boston equals 85. So does Red Sox. And today Tampa picks up their 85th win over Boston. So.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting what they're talking about. I heard this like the third time on 922. I don't know nothing about it, but I've seen that it's going to be the 8,046 day since 9/11. I know that's an important number because George Floyd was choked out for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Then they changed it to 929.
Right.
Which is it's the 158th crime.
Right.
Oh, yeah. the level of 9/11 tributes that the MLB is playing, it's pretty crazy, man. So if they do get their 8,046 loss, then what's that tell you, man? What's that tell everybody? Just how that aligned so perfectly well. So, and people who have no brains are not gonna. How does someone with no brain realize that, man?
Yeah, and there's a lot of people like that.
On 9/4, which is Terror's 94, there was a lot of 9/11 tributes that day too. The Twins, they stayed on 940 away losses since 9/11. Terror's 94, Twin Towers. Pitcher was number 49. The Guardians pitcher, he went 7-12, like building 127 with a loss. And they're just playing all these crazy 9/11 rituals, man. Anyways, Zach, I'll let you go, man. I just wanted to bring up that 846 trip for 9/11.
And I'm 10 years old.
I appreciate it. You have a good night, man. Thank you.
I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
You've been the big guy for 6 months now in the White House. Can you take us behind the scenes, something that was extraordinary or unusual that happened that stands out to you?
Here's the deal. I want to say, about to walk down to the road that's going. Come on. About to walk down to the road that's going. I'm joking. I'm not. You know what I mean? About to walk down to the road that's going. What do you think, huh? About to walk down to the road that's going. If you wanted to find out whether or not there were a man on the moon or something, whether those aliens are here or not, and you can look, I said, I just don't like the way that guy wears his top. It's like telling your kids, like, you're 4 years old when you see a red light cross the street. I grew up in a neighborhood where you became a cop, a firefighter, or a priest. I wasn't qualified for any one of them. So here I am. By the way, one of the things I'm not able to get done, let me finish the question. The answer. I want to say, about to walk down to the road that's going. Come on. About to walk down to the road that's going. I'm joking. I'm not. You know what I mean? About to walk down to the road that's going. What do you think, huh? About to walk down. I mean, QAnon, the idea, the Democrats, Biden is hiding people and sucking the blood of children. I don't care if you think I'm Satan or reincarnated. The fact is, you may not like me, and that's your right. I'm sitting across from Putin. He knows who I am. Joe Biden. What's that all about? You're the big man. I think you know who he is. But again, one last thing. We don't talk enough to you about this, I don't think. Here's the deal. I want to say, about to walk down to the road that's going. Come on. About to walk down to the road that's going. I'm joking. I'm not. You know what I mean? About to walk down to the road that's going. What do you think, huh? About to walk down to the road that's going.
You're protected from deception.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Ouch. Don't watch. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
Okay. Hopefully the sound part is over. Again, we don't hear it clearly over here, so it's hard to hear where the commercials and the music and all that ends. But let's again continue to take calls for the rest of the show. Phone number is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. And again, I know there's people in the community who are very good with the knowledge, but they don't ever call into the show. I really wish they would call in sometimes. Like, these are people I always talk to off the air, but they never call into the shows. I really wish some of the more knowledgeable people would call in sometimes, because it's just, it's just like on a day like today. I mean, two really easy games to take in baseball. The 38th win for Arizona over Colorado, when I educate about Colorado and 38 all the times. Boston in 85, another pattern I've taught about a million times. I mean, those are two consistent numbers that I've literally taught about a gazillion times. 38 in Colorado, 85 in Boston. And we got guys calling in like, man, how do you know who to pick? It's like, well, haven't we talked about how if you ever had to bet, like wait for a bet that your life depended on, it'd be a Colorado 38 bet? Boston in 85 and basketball and the Red Sox and the first March Madness in 85. How many times have we talked about all these things? On a day like that, we shouldn't be getting calls like that today. I should be getting calls like, hey, Zach, thanks. I won for the 1,000th time on the Colorado 38. Really appreciate it. It's just like making me go, what is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? I feel like everybody needs to go back to kindergarten. Let's go out to 951. 951, you're on. (951) Hello? Okay, too much silence. Let's go out to 816. 816.
Hey, Greg, how's it going?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, I don't know if you remember, a few months ago, I sent you a picture of a thing I had drawn. It was a zodiac wheel.
Okay, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you posted it on your Twitter. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh, I thought you didn't hear me. Anyways, I've made other interpretations of that wheel, and I was wondering if I could explain some other things I found using that tonight.
Okay.
The first one I think would be the Aaron Rodgers tattoo. I think I wrote you about that. He got that tattoo that he posted on his social media, I think it was.
Okay.
I don't know if you can pull that up or not.
What do you want me to pull up?
I think it's on his Instagram. That tattoo he put on his arm.
Yeah, he unveiled it last year, August 8th.
Yeah. Yeah. I think July 6th he had it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I can't see you at the moment, so I don't know if you pulled it up or not.
Okay, I don't have it up, but yeah, just what's the point you want to make?
I was just going to tie that all in with the wheel that I sent you and the new modifications I made to it to try to explain to people, gematria and numbers, letters, and how that all ties into planets and astronomy and astrology, because it's all interconnected. And I think his tattoo would be the best way to kind of explain that, even to the listeners to the show.
Okay, I got the tattoo up here.
It would be okay. Now I made a board. It's kind of a drawing of what explaining that. So I'll send it to you to the number that you had. Let me send you the other one on, if that's fine.
Okay.
This will all tie in with the little weird things of even why he chose the number 8 this year and things like that. So I'll send that over to you. Okay. Okay, I sent it over to you. I think I've been sending you other things, but it'd be the last thing I think.
Okay, it's a radio show. I mean, we're eating up time right here. You guys got to call in with something to present. Not like we don't have time to exchange emails and do all this. I mean, it's a call-in show. So just you got to say what the point is.
Oh yeah, no worries. I was just gonna explain to people why he chose the number 8 and why on 8/8 he chose to post. I think it's his second post on his Instagram page. It's like cherish the little things, 8/8, and it shows the lion and he has the number 8, and it ties into that tattoo. That's why it's a lot easier visually, obviously, but I was going to talk you through it if you were to get that up.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the next caller because I think it just didn't comprehend what I said, but thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, let's go out to 252. What's up, 252?
Yeah, what's up, Zach? First of all, I'm going to get on what you just said about you calling in with the sport. Yeah, that was a good call today with the 85 in Boston. That dude from Tampa down in the construction accident today, right?
Yeah, Mike Williams.
Yeah, Mike Williams. This is Philly. I made $50 on the Phillies. Phillies were an easy lock today. So remember when you brought up to me about how I-95 in Baltimore, I didn't really say nothing. I kind of was like, you're like, yeah, I know about that, but because I didn't really put it in together. I didn't really tie it together. I knew they connected between Philly and Baltimore, but whatever. Point is, went back and looked at the collapse. It was June 11th, whatever. June 11th, 11/6, right? Philly's picture today. You said, remember, construction started today.
He became 11-6 today, right on the day, leaving 116 days left in the year.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. And
that was the only thing that looked good for Philly. But yeah, I didn't think to connect it to the road. I forgot the road was on June 11th. But yeah, okay. So we got to follow that road narrative. Go ahead.
Yeah. Exactly. He got the 11-6, and his name is 54 forwards and backwards, just like construction.
Interesting. Yeah, and then the construction project death. Okay.
Exactly, and this guy played for the Bucks, which is Brady's old team. The Eagles opened up the season against the Patriots, and they're doing a Brady retirement ceremony.
Okay.
And today is 87 days after the road collapse. Philadelphia Eagles 87, and that picture fell to 11-3. Eagles 113, and then Boston getting their 85th win, National Football League 85 between Brady's two teams. 34 days after Brady's birthday, when that's a big murder number, and the Tampa dude's dead in a construction accident.
Yeah, that's a good
yesterday
point.
Exactly, like a fucking construction accident. Really? Really? That doesn't. And then get to the and of course we've been talking about Eagles Ravens, and Boston's next series is against the Orioles, and that'll end on a Sunday. So the alignment with that, I'm pretty sure that would be that's 22 weeks before the Super Bowl. That series would end. So it's a big Boston number, but Yeah, I mean, just clear cut. When I seen the 11-6 thing, I was like, yeah, that's automatic. There's no, I don't care what win or loss they can get. That's fucking happening, and it happened.
Yeah, that was a good call. Yeah. Again, just news and sports and keeping track of it all and putting the pieces of the puzzle together right. So, again, like caller's saying, the I-95 collapsed in Philadelphia, June 11th. The Super Bowl upcoming is on the 95th birthday of the Vatican and where Las Vegas is. Route 95 goes through Vegas. But yeah, 611 was the number, or 11-6. Good one.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to connect this all. You know that collapse was literally 104 days before Harbaugh's birthday.
Okay. All the 104 stuff for the 104 season.
And it's getting reconstructed today on 58 date numerology, as well as 38, Ravens 38. But
yeah, that's perfect. Freemason 996, like 96. Freemasonry 58, like the date numerology today. Yeah, okay.
I don't really want to. Can you please, because I want people to really see this. Can you please measure from today to the Super Bowl?
Today to the Super Bowl?
Yep.
Let me see. I got to type it in. Let's see. 158 days, like Freemasonry is 158. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. The builders. Exactly. Rebuilding today. And I just wanted to bring this just all together. You said how the Jets coach was telling the story about the eagle killing the crow, and obviously Super Bowl III was the Ravens and the Jets. So I was looking into that. I'm like, Ray Lewis III. They signed OBJ number 3. Super Bowl III. Ravens and Jets. Hard Knocks equals 104, by the way. But 104 and 58. But anyways, Super Bowl III. Ray Lewis III. Odell number 3. Deion Sanders, who played for the Ravens, is trending right now, who's 56 years old. Obviously, we know that connection with him or with 3 and 56. But anyways, they signed Odell 87 days after the anniversary of Super Bowl III. Odell 87. And that Super Bowl was on January 12th, which can also be written backwards like 211. But they have that 112 connection because obviously John Harbaugh is 211 and Baltimore MD. And I've documented they do a lot of things with these state initials. With Baltimore MD, 51 plays a lot in Milwaukee because Milwaukee WI is 51. But anyways, yeah, Baltimore MD 112, and then the Super Bowl III on 112. And I'm looking into OBJ's son, right? Remember he got signed on Easter Sunday, right? With Jesus, the resurrection. OBJ matches son in all four. They announced the birth of his son last year on the 54th day of the year. OBJ 54, son 54, and that was when they announced it. But he was born on the 48th day of the year. SON 48, Cleveland 48, and you won't believe how many days after his birthday that his son was conceived. It was 104 days.
Perfect.
And obviously, perfect, right? Fucking perfect. And so I'm looking at that, and I'm like, like Odell. There were literally trade rumors around last December. You just type in Odell Eagles and you'll see it from December 7th, December 8th, because there's even a media video on about OBJ on the phone speaking with, just Eagles media or whatever. But there was trade rumors about him going to the Eagles. So I'm like, let me look at his signing on 4/9 that Easter Sunday, because Eagles is 49. So let me look to just measure from that. From his signing from OBJ signing to the collapse is exactly 9 weeks, and OBJ equals 9. And that's interesting because the NFL just made a big thing today about how the AFC North has 8 Super Bowls won. So who would win the 9th? I don't know. Maybe the team who just signed OBJ 9 weeks before the I-95 collapse. And like I said, it was 104 days before Harbaugh's birthday. And construction begins today, which is today, 9/6, 150 days after his signing. Philadelphia Eagles 150. And obviously, Jalen Hurts has the 8/7 birthday and everything. And the collapse was 57 days before Jalen Hurts' birthday, taking it up with him just being in Super Bowl 57.
Yeah.
And it's being, and yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
No, yeah, it all makes a lot of sense. I even see the park's 11.5 acres, and the word Masonic is 115 as well. So yeah, just perfect tribute to the builders, and just one more example of how this is absolutely the code that they're using. So
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, you should probably go look back at that Louisville shooting with the bank because Lamar Jackson went to Louisville.
We talked about that back then.
Yeah, I didn't even know that, but yeah. And the shooter was born on February 11th. Did you catch that?
I don't know if I had that detail. I have to go back and look, but okay, the birthday of the Super Bowl, yeah. Again, Lamar Jackson was the phenom at Louisville as a 19-year-old right after Muhammad Ali died, and they had the 19-mile funeral procession. Again, 19's the number in the Quran code. But that whole first year that Lamar Jackson was at Louisville, his birthday used to be different online. His birthday on his Wikipedia page and everywhere else it was posted was always the same exact day and month as Muhammad Ali. And once he went to the NFL, then his birthday changed for Lamar Jackson. So,
does Muhammad have a connection to 87, or am I tripping?
Well, Islam does, or the word Muslim does. Muslim's 87.
That's what it is.
Muhammad's 74, like Ali died at 74, and Muhammad Ali's 96, coming back to today. But
yeah, you're right. I know that's right because they had the rapper Lil Durk, whose name is 87 and 33, come out about him being Muslim, and now that's his whole thing. But
the football player though, the football player who's dead, he's born in 87,
his
right?
Dad name.
Big number in Philly.
His dad name.
So Mike Williams.
His dad name is Muhammad. His dad name is Wali Muhammad or Wali Muhammad, something like that.
Mike Williams' dad is?
Yeah, look. Did you not? There's no way you didn't catch that. Look at it. In the article, yeah, all it says is Muhammad says, because Muhammad's his father's name. So that's why I was asking about that 87 connection, because I caught that earlier.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
So, yeah. But anyway, the shooter was born on February 11th. That shooting was 58 days after his 25th birthday. 58 days after his 25th birthday. Ravens 25. Obviously, just, I don't even got to speak about 58. But it's Anyways, that's my point. But anyways, I'd watch for this Browns-Bengals game. A good clue in that is, remember, all this going down with Odell at 48. Week 1 is 56 days before OBJ's birthday. You know he's Mr. 56. And the Browns open the season against the Bengals. And Browns' next win against them is their 48th win. Both Odell and Cleveland both equal 48.
Yeah. Good
so that'd be a good for them to open it up. But, you have in your notes that Bill Belichick's on 152 losses. Remember the Philadelphia shooting that happened right after the Baltimore shooting on July 3rd?
Okay.
That was 152 days after Brady's birthday. Mass shooter 152. And now Bill Belichick is about to open the season against the Eagles on 152 losses, and he's probably going to stay there.
Okay, that's a good observation.
Exactly. So all it is, and you really, there is a lot I could say about it, but I mean, I'm not going to get into all of it. But honestly, yeah, I mean, there's obviously something going on with that. But last thing I wanted to tell you was that I noticed a lot of people in this community are kind of caught up and focused on how they're doing this and things like, things like heart, things like the weather, and, they're like, oh, like, I found this document saying, I know this happened, and, so they got to be doing this. But I think what really we should be getting out and doing is going under these, is to get away from the social media, because you understand that they're censoring you, right? You know that. What I think we should be doing is getting under these fucking NFL posts. Even if there's, I'm going to start by saying this. You need to find, whether it be you or somebody else in the community, that can make a good, straight to the point, simple, short, copy and paste comment that you can put under all of these professional pages with blue checks on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, on all of these pages. Go around, just keep saying this. It doesn't matter if somebody noticed it. It doesn't matter when people scroll through comments and don't, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't comment, that scroll through comments. So even if you don't get any traction through it, people are going to see it. If you make this a thing, if you go around it, there's at least hundreds of people in this community who can do this. Go under all these Instagram posts. They post 1 million times a day. And they're even making so many jokes about the script and everything, and people are even starting to say like, y'all definitely got something to hide. If you double that with this just lingering under lingering under everything they do, it's going to make it really hard for them. It's going to make it really hard. And if there's going to be anything else I keep saying y'all, but honestly because I'm part of this too, but is that we focus on, it needs to be really getting somewhere inside, like I mentioned before, to this. It can't just be waiting on people to find out through YouTube. They're not. This video is going to be stuck at 2K views. Every video you post is going to be stuck at 2K views, no matter how good it is, no matter how short it is. Because one, people don't give a fuck, and two, they're not going to listen, and three, they're damn sure not going to listen to anything dealing with this shit. But if you just keep on pushing, people keep on scrolling through comments and seeing shit like this, and you keep on making all these people, like I said, who know these fucking Freemasons, and then not even that is besides the point, but who even, you know what I mean? Who even gets to see? There's tons of people who go to games and they're like, I met this and this and this. There's even people in your community who comment and say, I was by so and so and so and so and so and so and so. Okay, well, fucking do, you know what I mean? Like, the point is to get inside. We can't do this from the outside. We need more people influencing more Larry Johnsons of the world. We need more people, like I said, commenting on these posts, going on these Twitter posts, going all of them. Simple, short copy and paste message. Get it out there.
Indeed. I mean, I've been saying the same thing for years. For people who don't know, this caller, he's only been with the work for less than a year now. But I've been asking people to do these exact same kinds of things. Just be more active. Put the information out anywhere you can. I mean, that's the way it's going to get out there. There's very few people that I don't know. They're willing to do those things. I don't know why that is, but.
I don't know either. I mean, I don't know either. I mean, but I will say this. I will say this. Don't spend your lifetime worrying about getting frustrated or mad. It's insane. But it is insane that people don't know, people don't give a fuck, and people can't see it. It is crazy. But at the same time, we all have a life to live, and I'm not gonna lie. Whatever they're doing is in place through some sort of system higher than us. And I mean, obviously, we can continue to try to put good out there, but at the end of the day, don't let no fucking people who aren't watching it, don't worry about what you don't have, who isn't looking at this. And that goes for all of these people in the community. If you're even doing this with a few subs or whatever, don't ever feel demotivated because this is not, even though this might feel like your purpose on your conscience, this is not the point of everything. The point is to know this so you can be able to live your life to the fullest without being affected by the news and other shit. That's the real point. So if you sit here still caught up in, damn, another headline, don't feel sorry for these motherfuckers. It's bad, but we've talked about this before. These motherfuckers are born into this. This is not something that is, they are not victims. Even if they are, they're not. Even if they are, they're not. It sounds like people say, but we shouldn't be doing this to save the sacrifices or stop the sacrificing. The point is that there's obvious sick evil, whether it be sacrifices or not. There's obvious sick evil running the world. It doesn't even have to be filled with sacrifices or death. You get what I'm saying?
Indeed. All right, caller. Well, I appreciate it as always. People in the chat are wondering, are you posting your work anywhere online?
No, I don't, because I mean, I'm still kind of just trying to, live I really don't try to stay caught up in this work too much. I'll look at it, but I don't really get it out there that much, But I do try to get in that new sports chat y'all have in the community. I really wish more people would get engaged with that. That's something that I can get into, but I will. I mean, I can if they really want me to. I can spend a little bit of my time and get stuff out there in the community.
Sure. I mean, you spend some time decoding, so you could always share it if you want to. But anyway, keep up the good work. Sure. Appreciate it.
All right, I will. Yep.
All right, you have a good night. All righty, let's go out to Evan. What's up, Evan?
All right, hey Zach, I'd like you to pull up a YouTube channel. The guy's name is Peter Santinello.
Okay, Peter Santinello.
I don't have any form.
There he is. Okay, he's up.
All right. Now there's two videos on this guy. This guy basically just like goes around to different places of the world and interviews people. And there's two videos on here that I think people in this community should watch. The first one is the second to most recent video that he's lived 50 years off the grid in Appalachia. And then there's another one on the second row called The Man with No Legal Identity. Now, they are kind of long videos, so you might have to take a little bit of time to watch. But I think they're really interesting. And I think people in this, I know you've kind of been talking about occasionally people getting off grid and being self-dependent. I think these are, so it's the 50 years off the grid in Appalachia and Man with No Legal Identity. I think those two videos, people in the community should definitely go ahead and watch if they have time.
Okay.
And also, just one other thing. My dad came in town this past weekend, and he wanted to go to the Colorado TCU game, so we went to that. And one thing that I just noticed about is like a lot of the TCU players just seem to be missing tackles for no reason. And the TCU quarterback was like throwing behind the receivers for a lot of the game. It's kind of hard to believe that.
Sometimes it's easy to be
either they
casual.
weren't.
Hold on, Evan. Save it for after the break.
How about the man who's been talking for 10 years, but he's making the same verbal errors he made 10 years ago? Or 10 years ago he said, I don't quite know how to put this. 10 years later he's saying, I don't quite know how to put this. We can give you 10 hours not to know how to put it. You can stretch our patience and take 10 days not to know how to put it, but we can't give you 10 years. 10 years is too long not to make enough progress in better language skill. So, repetition with purpose. The purpose is to grow and to change, to develop, to expand, to make progress. Here's some other parts to saying it well. Sincerity, from the heart, with noble intent, wishing to bring value. That adds immeasurably to your ability to speak well, communicate well. There's no substitute for sincerity. I can forgive you for a mistake in judgment, but I can't forgive you for a mistake in intent.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Anne, before I started using this product, every afternoon my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit heartdrop.com.
Once in a decade, a true story comes along that remembers the future. After 6 Amazon bestsellers, I have completed the epic Birth Trilogy, a true story of Earth. By reading the Birth Trilogy, you will journey with the characters from the origin of Earth to its final destiny, in a white-knuckle ride that combines the intrigue of Tom Clancy with the epic scope of Prometheus and Interstellar. You will learn more about the purpose of life, the mystery of death, and the true nature of your soul than you thought possible. The Birth Trilogy is now available on Amazon and Kindle. The audio version is a free bonus when you buy the paperback, so even if you're not a great reader, don't worry about it. I read it for you. Use the Amazon app today and buy the Birth Trilogy, spelled B-E-A-R-T-H, or search for my name. I'm Brooks Agnew.
You're listening to the True Frequency Radio Network.
No fight. No freedom.
can't anybody see? No. Nobody.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. It's the final 30 minutes, and we'll be taking your calls. If you want to be part of the show, now is the time to call in. And Evan got interrupted. He was saying he went to the big Deion Sanders primetime upset, Colorado over TCU in Texas, where he used to play for the Cowboys. And again, one of the storylines, 87 new members on the team. In Gematria, Buffaloes equals 87. They're the Colorado Buffaloes. Cowboys is also 87. 87 total points in the game that was the upset for Deion Sanders, who started his college football career at Florida State in 87. But, yeah, Evan was just saying there were some real questionable things that TCU was doing in the upset. And, of course, there was. I mean, college and pro, you can see when they're throwing the games. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that especially I noticed on the game-winning touchdown that Colorado had, their two TCU guys could have, I don't know if they could have easily had him, but they definitely could have had him before he scored. And the TCU starter he wasn't the starter last year. He was, half of his passes he was throwing behind the receivers. And it just, either they weren't trying very hard or they're somehow assembled a team that isn't that good, and which is kind of surprising that since they were good last year. But yeah, I only went because my dad was in town and he wanted to go. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out there and wanted to make people aware that those other videos I was just talking about a few minutes ago.
All right. Appreciate it, Evan. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, take care. All right, just a heads up, we got one person on hold, and then we got nobody else on hold. So if you want to phone in, 213-233-3998. You'll be next in line right after this veteran caller. How you doing tonight, friend?
How are you doing?
Doing all right.
Okay. I was listening. Seems like you're not making it to New York this year, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to go this year. I'd like to. I feel bad about not being there, but it's just... again, I can't keep the missus happy right now, because right now she's saying, what's your argument to travel anywhere? All your support fell off. And I said, yeah, I know. I don't know why that is, but that is the case. So, anyhow.
Yeah, I was looking forward to see you, man. You know?
I will definitely be back out there, and again, if there's a big event in the near future, I might have to make the early excuse to get back out there. So we'll see. It all depends on how things go.
That's how it is. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, I'm pressing you over the side. I'm getting to a lot of people, man. You know, a lot of guys start seeing what I'm showing them now. You know.
That's good.
So I was saying to them, I was saying to them about this yard and stuff. I say, look out for, you know, don't be surprised. I say, I don't want them to be, but possibility. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So stuff like that, when you give them way in advance and it happens, they start believing. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
A few of my friends come to me and say, damn, man, you talk about that. And it's really true. Even with the World Cup, and I tell them not Messi. No, they ain't always. That's all right. You see.
Yeah.
Now they start to believe, you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to show them, you know, I'm trying to get them to jump on your site, you know. I said, look, check it out. Check out Zachary Hubbard, you know what I'm saying? Just listen one and two, and I send them one and two of your stuff, you know?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, that's the way, you know, you gotta get them, you know, tuning into what you're saying, you know.
Right.
But so far it's been working, you know, 1 and 2, you know, as long as you can get one person one day to, you know, believe what you're saying, you know. Not one person tell the next person, you know.
Indeed.
So, but you can't give up, man. Keep on pushing.
Yeah,
you know?
That's all I can do. Appreciate that.
Yeah. I keep in touch, you know what I'm saying? I listen every Wednesday night, but sometimes you don't get to me, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, that's how it goes, you know? Because sometimes I get in late.
Yeah, you're always here, though. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
All right, friend. You have a good night. Again. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
You take care.
You too. Yeah.
Okay, from New York to Phoenix. It's like the 2001 World Series. Phoenix, what's up? 480.
What's up? Hello. Hey, Zach. I was the guy that called in last week about the Cowboys-Bills prediction for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
But, I called in. I called in like a couple weeks before that, and you're like about Tony Stewart. And you're like about the NASCAR stuff. You're like, I don't want to like, you know, you don't want to like talk about NASCAR then, but he has some interesting dates and deaths around him. Well, his birthday is like 5/23, 71 or 70 something. But he killed his driver on 8/9 of 14. I don't know if you remember that when he ran over his driver. That was like
I got an old post on it. I got an old post on that.
Yeah. So he killed 8/9. His first ever race was 8/9. Some of his like he has tons of races where he's won on 8/9. That guy's birthday was 5/23. I think I said that right now. And then he just had a driver that died at 23, and he tweeted it during all the Maui stuff at 8:08. PM, and then she died 8/18, and then her birthday was also 9/27, which ties into like a lot of the other stuff. Sorry, I'm like trying to think of it all right now. So from the date she died to the date that he was cleared from those charges from 2014, he was cleared like 1/9 of 23, just barely like totally cleared of everything. To the day she died was 318 days.
Okay.
Which is, like Barack Hussein Obama. And then also like tying into the 9/27, the Lil Wayne stuff and Carter and all that. And then getting back to the Led Zeppelin, like that stuff is tying into the Zeppelin arrived at the Chicago World's Fair 10/26 of 33 of 1933, and then it was number 127, was LZ 127 that arrived at the Chicago World's Fair for the first time, and then the one that exploded was number 129, and that exploded 5/6 of 1937 in New Jersey, and that's the same exact day that the Hurricane Carter was born in New Jersey, 5/6 1937.
I see.
So that's it's just some more tie-ins with a lot. I've just been diving deep into all that stuff with Forrest Gump and Carter and Louisiana, and just all ties in together. Like Hawaii, start looking at everything which you already know. But I was just letting you know that stuff about the NASCAR and a lot of his dates and stuff are weird. And then I don't know if you knew about the Andre the Giant died 30 years ago too for the 30-year cycle. He was born in France in 46, and he died 1/27/46.
I see.
He died at 46. Yeah, he was born in 46 and died at 46. He was born in France. But yeah, that's it. Basically, that's just some of the stuff.
All right, appreciate it.
All right. Oh, I have one more question. Did you ever go to Margarita Rocks when you were at ASU? Because you look like super familiar. Because I'm like from Arizona, and I'm your exact same age.
I went to Arizona State.
Yeah, I know. So you probably went to Margarita Rocks and back to the days and all that, or no?
It's funny, man.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if I ever did. I'm sure I was there. Yeah, we probably crossed paths.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I was always on Mill, always during those times. So, all right, that's it, brother. You have a good one, and I'll keep listening on.
All right, appreciate it. You have a good night.
Yep, bye.
See you. All right, let's go out to New York. How you doing, 347?
Hey, what's up, Zach? I really didn't have that much to say, but since you're saying with that many callers on, I just had to call in quick like. What I do talking about that Colorado, I really don't want to talk about no sports, but I just had to make this point about the Colorado TCU game. You should have known when Colorado was a 21-point underdog, they're going to make the storyline as Deion winning as a 21-point underdog. He wore number 21.
Right.
And the last time they beat a top 20 team was in 2002, was 21 years ago.
There you go. There you go. That's how they
Just
did
that
it.
simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Saturn has that Gematria 21. Saturn 21. Saturday named after Saturn. We've seen some 21 rituals in sports before on Saturdays. So.
Okay, going back to the Smash Mouth guy who just died. You talking about the 49ers. Who they play? The Steelers.
Right.
Smash Mouth versus the Steelers. The Steelers are known for Smash Mouth.
Right. Yep. That's true. Indeed.
So those are two quick sports points. Did you see the thing about the Rothschilds and selling their stuff? I thought that was interesting. Now all this other shit going on in the news. You got a story about the Rothschilds selling their private collection.
Treasures from Rothschild family collection could fetch $30 million at auction. Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Why would that story come out around this time about the Rothschild selling their private collection?
Yeah, gonna have to look into that one. I didn't see that headline yet. It's news to me.
And then you got the Bill Gates talking about he made nearly $1 million bet on Bud Light. Why is that a story?
$95 million, and the news broke on 9/5. $95 million bet on 9/5. Yeah, exactly.
On Bud Light.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically. I really didn't have too much. But I just had to, I wanted to call. So you say there was no callers. So I just had to make those quick points. Oh yeah. I didn't really want to talk about too much sports. Cause I know I like to keep that for the sports Gematria. But it's strange that the Giants play Sunday night and the Jets play Monday night. So if that's not a ritual script for you,
exactly. You got three of the New York teams, all three of them playing on primetime. And on September 11th, it's the all New York match, Jets hosting the Bills. And then Sunday Night Football, it's the Giants hosting the Cowboys. So, yeah, the weekend of 9/11, you got to have all New York in primetime. So obvious.
Exactly. Yeah. That's basically it. Let me see. Let me see. One more thing I want to say if I get off here. Let me see. I think those are the main points I got.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I just had to make a point by the Deion and 21 right off the bat.
Yeah. Great point.
All right, Zach. That's it.
All right. Take care, man.
Okay.
Okie dokie. Let's go out to 917. It's on Super Echo. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hi, Zach.
Yeah, what's going on?
So are you gonna make it to 9/11 or not?
It doesn't look like it.
Are you? It doesn't look like it. Sweet lady's too much busy. Too busy with sweet lady.
Well, she. that's part of it, but yeah, I mean, it's just. Again, I mean, look at it from my point of view. Drove all over the country, back and forth multiple times, and just the support for the work fell off. So it's like, okay, we're trying to grow the movement, not shrink it. And you don't see. I've been bringing this up that we need support to come back. None's coming back, so I don't know what's going on. But it is the reason that I'm parked at home for 9/11 this year. Yeah, not enough support in the world. So that's the reality.
Yeah. So we met last year. Do you remember?
I think I do.
Yeah. All right. So I want to make this quick. So the preamble of the U.S. Constitution has letters that are capitalized. So there's like a subliminal message to it. So I added up all the letters, and it adds up to 211. And 211 is 47 prime. That's a big number in U.S. history and masonry as well. just like what you speak about all the time. What is 47? The license plate. And then something more modern. Speaking of 9/11, the South Tower was hit at 9:03. I know you covered this many times. 9:03, you dropped to 0, and it has the image of 93, which is Saturn. In your book, you wrote that Saturn is the 6th planet, and it's the furthest away that the naked eye could see without a telescope. It's interesting that they did it like this, because it's like people can't really understand or comprehend 9/11. Also, the South Tower collapsed at 56 minutes after. From 03 to 9:59 is 56 minutes. And you've been speaking a lot about 56 for the past 3 years during the 2020 coronavirus. So 56, 9:59 a.m. is 599 minute of the day. When you do the 599 minute of the day, you get the prime is 109, and 109 goes down to 29, and 29 goes down to 10. So it's a very powerful number, because there's a lot of primes, and the prime has a strength to it, because like what you've mentioned, it can't be divided.
Right.
So, and obviously the North Tower was standing for 102 minutes, from 8:46 a.m. to 10:28 a.m. is 102 minutes. So it's like a little bit of a sick image that they illustrated of the North Tower standing the longest before the South Tower, and then after the South Tower, and in between you have the hit and the collapse of the South Tower. It's a sick image because of the numerology, the games that is being played. And something more recent is you've covered a lot on Hawaii, on Maui, and Maui is it happened on Tuesday, August 8th. The word energy is 88, so 8/8 in the image is August 8th. And Maui, when you write it out, is 73. The prime of 73 is 21, and August 8 numerology of 2023 is 21. Now, and then there's another number that's very much focused on. It's 17. 59 prime is 17. So there is a calculation where you get 59 and the prime is 17. And this number is very much focused because 13 days later, on Sunday, August 20, there was the California earthquake, and that has a numerology of 17 as well, August 20. So both of them, August 8 and August 20, they both have a 17 date numerology. So there's a connection between 59 and 17 with two dates, August 8 and August 20. It's about 22,430 miles apart from the island of Maui to the town in California, OJAI. And OJAI and Maui both come out to 17 and 28 because 28 is connected to the 107, the 107 prime, and 107 when you take out the 0 becomes 17. So there's a chain reaction between that number. It's like a line that they drew between the two numbers of 59 and 17 with the two events that they've done. Also, another thing is Lahaina, Maui in the island has a connection of 17, 107, because when you drop to 0, and 28. So, that goes back specifically the location. It connects with the whole event of the island, and it connects with the earthquake in California under 2 weeks later. They have a connection there, and there's many connections also. Previously 20 plus years ago with the 9/11 that I want to share. So it's too bad you're not making it this year. I was kind of expecting you.
Yeah, I'd like to think that this will be the last 9/11 that I'm not there. It really does need to be happening every year. I feel bad about not being there, but yeah, again, I got to go back to the drawing board for how to get support for the work because obviously traveling around doesn't do it. It makes people just leave. So,
Yeah.
what can you do? But yeah, appreciate it and great call. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you have a good night. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right, 586, you're on.
Hello?
Hello,
Can you hear me?
you're on.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
End of the show.
Okay, so yeah, I got a couple things I'd like to speak about for Super Bowl 58.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. I'm just give me 1 second. I'm just finishing this. Just took a bite of sandwich. I didn't realize I was going to get in so quick. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I freaking peanut butter, so of course it takes longer.
I got it.
Okay, so I'm right on the Ravens with you, bro. There's like, to me, there's so many different things screaming Ravens. And honestly, I like the 49ers over there in the NFC, man. Hardcore. Okay,
Super Bowl 47 rematch. It's possible.
Exactly. So we'll go through just all the notes that I've taken over the summer. Okay. Ray Lewis III died 8 months before the Super Bowl, where the Ravens can grab their third ring, right? Ray Lewis is the greatest player in that franchise's history. They're in their 28th season. He's done it dead at 28. Well, here's where the number 8 comes into play. Last summer, Lamar Jackson did an interview, and in the interview, the lady asked him about his father. You know, his father's deceased, and he said his father always wanted him to wear the number 1 in the NFL. And he said when he was drafted by Baltimore, they gave him the number 8. And he said he will eventually wear the number 1, but first he'll win a Super Bowl wearing number 8. He'll retire that, change to number 1, finish his career at number 1, and he also said he's going to win the Super Bowl wearing number 1, and he's going to dedicate that one to his father. Basically sounded like he described his career script that the NFL gave him for his career, basically, right?
I see.
So anyways, right? Let's get back to a little bit more for numbers crunching, because that's what we love, right? Numbers. So all this changing your number to 8, when last summer Lamar said he's going to retire 8, right? Look, Aaron Rodgers, 12 in Green Bay, correct? 8 in New York, 8 at Cal, correct? The Bay Area. He wore 8 in the Bay Area, correct?
I think that is correct, yeah.
Correct. Niners make their appearance in the Super Bowl this year. It's their 8th appearance. Now, let's go to Josh Jacobs. And you say, well, what does that guy have to do anything with the Super Bowl? Well, not really, but sort of, kind of. He plays for the team that's hosting it, correct? All summer, he held out. He didn't record, blah, blah, blah. These running backs, they're underpaid. They all want to get paid, yada, yada. He signed a year deal with them. And when he came back, he changed from 28 to 8. Ravens are the only team in their 28th season right now. And it's kind of like, why? What was the purpose to go from 28 to 8? And like, what are all these 8s, right? And then here's another thing that I was doing some crazy shit this summer, man. Okay, 7, you might know this, I don't know. 7 different times 2 teams have met in the Super Bowl. So, if the Ravens and Niners go back again, it will be the 8th time there's been a rematch in the Super Bowl.
Interesting.
Correct?
Okay.
And then, I got more. Hold on. I got a little bit more. Okay, so 11 years ago, correct?
Super Bowl.
Right.
Thomas Edison, born February 11th, 1847. They played in Super Bowl 47, right? Well, it's his birthday, so what's the biggest mockery on earth? They're playing on his birthday. Like last year, 2 black quarterbacks, Abe Lincoln's birthday, rematch of this, which to me would be like, makes the most sense, right? But I mean, it's not like guaranteed. And then the whole fact of like, a month and a half or so ago, Tupac was back in the news, and like you said this before, Tupac moved to Baltimore at 11, right? Dies in Vegas. That's where the Super Bowl is at. Like, there's just so many different things.
The season starts tomorrow, the anniversary of his shooting in Vegas. We're out of show though, but yeah, those are some really great observations. So appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Keep it up.
Yeah, so that's what I got for you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And
I just let you know, on DraftKings right now, that's at plus 13,000. So if you take Ravens over 49ers and you risk a $100 bill, it pays out $13,000.
All right, very interesting. Appreciate it.
No problem. Stay up, G.
All right, take care, man. Okay, that is the end of the show. Timer says we're out. And yeah, I think that's enough for tonight. For all of you sportsaholics, we will do our first NFL live stream tomorrow on Patreon. And let me see. Okay, yeah, just checking out the chat. But yeah, we can leave it there for tonight. Again, I don't think I'm going to do any more after hours shows. Again, we'll get the calls in during the show. And again, sorry that we're not in New York for 9/11. I am very disappointed about it. But yeah, it just, I mean, in a way, it only feels like it's so effective. It is effective to be there, and it is important, but in terms of like trying to make an example out of, putting it online, big tech doesn't tolerate it. Like, all of our best New York content was censored within no time at all. And then we saw the joke they played. GematriaEffectNews 24 is the channel I lost recently, and they literally deleted the channel 263 days after we were in 9/11, or in New York for 9/11. And, of course, we were educating about why the 3 flights that hit the buildings that day, Flight 11, 77, and 175, add up to 263. Of course, the 56th prime number, the favorite number of the Jesuits. But, no, DK is actually calling in. Hold on. All right, I'll take DK's call real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. What's up, DK?
Hey, Zach, how's it going?
It's going all right.
I just got a couple quick mentions. You know how you were talking about the Moana movie?
Yeah.
For a while now. I mean, we got that like pretty much. If I look back at at our text thread, we got that like maybe 2-3 days after I said, I texted you, have you seen that Moana movie thing yet? And you said, no, but I got to watch it. Did you see actually the Moana, the character, how it's like a big fire thing? Did you see the logo it has on it?
For the live action film?
Yes.
Here, I'll look it up.
It was, I sent you a screenshot of that, like, God, that's already back last, that was on what date was that? That was like on the 14th, so it's already, we're already like 3 weeks past that, but we had that all in the very beginning.
I got different images up here. What's the one you want us to see for the live action?
Let me see. I'll look at the thread real quick. It's basically, he has, the logo for a hurricane?
Okay.
That's what the monster has on it, which is weird. Why would you have like some fire monster with a hurricane logo on it? It just, you know what I mean? And then Okay, here it is right here.
I got it up here. I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's right on the middle of the chest.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So, did you hear the Governor Green guy say it was a fire hurricane?
Is that right? Fire hurricane. Okay.
Like you were saying, where are they getting these words from? You know what I mean? These phrases, like, what was the other one that you said a few times? I can't remember it now off the top of my head, but just like, you know, coming out with all these new quote unquote weather attack phrases, you know? But yeah, so I thought that was strange. And then we did the Dora the Explorer thing, like, you know, live. And then they gave us a nod on that. I don't know if you noticed, but you pull up the MLS there's no woman named Dora living at that house, that house they say that survived it. That was, I think, a nod to us calling out the Dora the Explorer. Like, you know, you ever heard of like Masonic master speak is one way that is phrased. Have you heard that term before?
I don't think so.
So Masonic master speak is where, like, some Mason or, you know, one of these black magicians or whatever will be talking to you, but in their, you know, verbiage to you, they're hiding certain gems for you to catch, to see if you catch, but it's like hidden in the story. I don't know if you've seen the movie Usual Suspects.
Yeah, Kaiser Soze.
Yes. So you remember Kevin Spacey at the end when he's talking to the detective and he's talking about Kobayashi, and that's the name of the porcelain of the coffee cup.
Right, he's just making up he's making up the whole story just off the details in his office, right?
Right. So that's very similar to like how Masonic master speak works. It's they're hiding like little gems of who they really are. You know, like earlier you had that caller call. I was in and out of the show. I only caught probably half of it, but I caught one caller, and you were right off the beginning of the call. You were like, you know, kind of like a little bit perturbed at the topic, like, and then he's like, yeah, I was, you know, last year, whatever, I was in Jerusalem, and it just didn't even fit in the story at all. But like, you were in Jerusalem, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just throw in a little tidbit, like, and if you don't catch it, it's like your fault, you know? So, I feel like a lot of that is going on in the Dora at the Waterhouse. Milligan was one of them. I think they just, you know, were just not catching it. But I think that was a nod because we got the Dora the Explorer, which is super, like, you know, like niche, you know what I'm saying, to even think of that. And then I also thought it was weird how, like, Oprah Winfrey's been a big name during this, and it's Oprah Gail Winfrey, and her best friend's name is also Gail, and then, you know, the hurricane with gale force winds.
Right.
So a lot of gales there. I don't know why. And then, so I didn't watch Moana, but, you know, right away, all my people, and I got probably like, you know, 10 key people that send me stuff, you know, because it's on TikTok, because it's, you know, it's just making the rounds on Instagram and such. And then they're like, oh, did you see this? Did you see this? And, you know, I don't have the time to just, you know, be on social media constantly and patrolling everything to see what, you know, what people are saying about, you know, what stuff is coming out. Like, you know, I called out people were sending me all the blue roofs right away. I'm all, that's a psyop. Lasers are invisible and you wouldn't see anything, not to mention the color blue wouldn't save you at all anyways. So that's going to be a psyop. And then now that's come out as a psyop, of course. So, but I guess you ended up watching Moana?
I can't remember. I don't think I finished it, but I started to watch it. I saw enough.
Okay, so I didn't know about the part of the green stones. That I learned from just listening to you talk about it, saying...
That's right at the beginning. The water brings her the green stone and then brings it to her again later in life.
And that's what's needed to save the island, huh?
Right. It has to be powered up by Maui.
Remember in Avengers, what was the main stone that Thanos needed to get?
I don't know if I've seen that, but I thought it was a bunch of different colored stones. I feel like I've seen that like in a glove or something.
But to make that glove, he needed the green stone to make it all work because that was the time stone, and it was being guarded by Doctor Strange, and then they had a black magician attack Doctor Strange so he could take the stone. And then, if you remember, I can't remember now, but it's a number. He goes, I just previewed every possible reality. It was a number like 13 million or something of all possible outcomes, and we win in only one. You remember when? I guess if you didn't see that movie, you wouldn't know that. But Doctor Strange is talking to the rest of the Avengers who were trying to save the world. He's telling them that he previewed all the future possible timelines, and I forget how many millions of them it was. That probably you could easily YouTube that. How many possible futures did Doctor Strange say there was? And then he said that we could only win in one of them, and that was the Green Stone. And then they had to get the Green Stone back. That was Endgame. And then the other two after that, they had to steal the glove back from him, and basically it was the Green Stone so they could rewind the time back and do it. Take away what Thanos had done. And then if you go remember the Superman movies, even the ones with Christopher Reeve back in the day, he had the green crystal that rebuilt his North Pole Palace home. So they keep going back to this the Green Stone in these movies, which symbolizes the heart chakra, of course, which is what we need. People need to wake up, and start processing information through the heart, not just through their brain. But again, it's about time, which is Saturn and Chronos and all that. So, the whole thing about these people having, time travel and the possibility to, preview futures and, stuff like that is kind of at the forefront again when I think about that. To totally change topics from that, you always mention on how, is it possible that, the reason they got Washington on the $1 bill is because he was an infiltrator that was very favorable to the Catholic Church and stuff like that. But have you ever, and how these guys like Jefferson and Adams were saying, you got to watch out for the influence of this group. And, there was various, founders and people from that era that said, watch out for this group. And whether they were, infiltrators or whether they were honestly just saying, hey, watch out for these guys. We've discussed this before. It could be up in the air. But I don't think I've ever mentioned to you, have you looked into the Culper spy ring?
I don't think so.
But Google that real quick. Culper, like CULPER. There was a spy ring during that time, the creation of the country. And I'm sure if you looked into it, you're going to find a bunch of things where it lines up with the stuff we already do talk about. Let me see what's on. Hold on. Let me pop up the screen.
Founded 1778. Okay. I don't know about this. This one's news to me.
Yeah, look into that a little bit. There's probably some names and dates and stuff that you already have in your memory bank that connects to all that, because you got a lot of these numbers and dates that are like in the RAM of your brain, where most of us got to look, have to kind of write it down and then cross-reference later. But I'd be interested to know what kind of connections you can make with the Culper spy ring.
Okay, yeah, I'll look into that one. I have never researched that before.
That's pretty much. I had some other things I just can't remember. That's all I got in my little notes here on my text message thread on the phone. So, but yeah, I like to bring it back to where I was just calling in myself, and for 10 minutes instead of going an hour and a half, 2 hours. I got stuff to do too. Not that I don't like talking to you, but it's just getting a little bit too long even for me. Just the after hours is too much,
Sure.
And I think anyways that the information that I bring is kind of quick to the point. I jump around a little bit, but it's usually fairly interesting, and I feel like just those hour and a half long ones, it's just like dulling my shine too. You know what I mean? Like, let me just do my thing and people can take it for what it is. And the reason I started calling anyways all the time was because people were saying they enjoyed it. They're waiting for me to call in. So I'll be like, all right, might as well give people some, maybe tangent information that they're not going to hear anywhere else that kind of relates.
Indeed. Yeah, I know a lot of people always appreciate the calls too, so thank you.
Yeah, and I didn't, want it to devolve into, an adult crybaby moment like it was a few weeks ago. That was just totally not my intention or anything like that. I wouldn't have never done that myself, but it happened. Did you have you predicted anything for 9/11? I kind of been following your stuff. I haven't listened to all the shows you've done in the last 3-4 days. I got most of the initial intros and stuff, but you got anything for this coming up 9/11 or nothing yet?
I haven't thought about what could happen this year on 9/11. It's the 22-year anniversary, but
yeah, there was something. What else did I see on the news last night at the gym? Something 22 that was sticking in my mind. I can't remember. Did you hear the Governor Green say that there's going to be a lot more fires for decades to come all over the world?
I'm sure he's. I can't believe that. I mean, it's just sick how he's going to be at this tech conference on September 25th, the anniversary of JFK's weather control speech. But then what I noticed, what else September 25th is this year? Guess what? A Jewish holiday falls on September 25th. Yom Kippur, old Yom Kippur. They always got a big fat funny joke on Yom Kippur, so they must think it was judgment. They must think it was judgment for the people in Maui, but
is it the same day every year, Yom Kippur?
No, the Jewish holidays always change because of the moon, but this year it falls on September 25th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the increments again that they give when you bar mitzvah and that they give you increments and what money again?
18.
18. What was that? What was the reason for that again?
Because 18 represents the meaning of life in Jewish numerology.
Okay. So they 18 and 19 are both big numbers for them?
Well, they follow the moon. The moon's on a 19-year cycle, so their holidays are on the same days every 19 years, but 18 is the meaning of life number.
Okay. Got it. Okay. I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Appreciate it, DK.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for taking the call. Talk soon.
That's it. Okay. Let me say thank you to the super chatters as well. We raised $12 tonight. And shout out to Brianna, who chipped in too. Shout out to Rick James, who did a membership. Thank you to Nima, who said, FYI, have you looked into the gematria of Jim Irsay, owner of the Colts? His name, gematria, equals 58 and 104. It's interesting because, again, it's the 104th NFL season. The Colts are originally from Baltimore. Baltimore equals 58. And his name also equals 41 as well, like Baltimore. And, yeah, it's interesting because the Colts opening game against the Jaguars, there's a number in that game that also goes with the season count of the Ravens. So, yeah, I imagine there'll be rituals all year long between Baltimore and Indianapolis. There typically are most years, if you pay attention. The league's one big script, and there's a lot of teams that have shared history. Again, Colts are connected through Baltimore. But, yeah, you're right. That could be, just another sign of things to come. We talked about how the Baltimore president of the team and the general manager of the team both have a 10-4 birthday. In light of the 104th NFL season, like how the 104th pick of the draft was out of Maryland. But also shout out to Eloy Garcia, who chipped in $1. And, yeah. So thank you to all of you. And see if there's any last comments in the chat before we wrap it up here tonight. Yeah, somebody's talking about the rule of being one number off in gematria. It's like called the rule of Kal-El or something like that. I've never used that. Show people the exact matches and they already think it's a coincidence. You start telling them you can be one number off. Uh-oh. Shout out to Jason D. It's probably about a year ago that I was meeting up with Jason D. Because I remember I left on Labor Day last year. I departed for New York City on Labor Day last year. So last year, I was a ways into the road trip at this point. Shout out to Rob. I was meeting up with Rob about a year ago this time too. Yeah, again, I do regret not being out there, you guys. It is what I would rather be doing. But, yeah, I got to figure out a way to keep support for the work so that there's no more gaps in the future. Can't rely on other people is the lesson. You know, got to do it all yourself in this world. But all right, we'll leave it there for now. Have a good rest of your evening. And until next time, Shrew Sticker.